Dej, we'll plug in a quick intro now, and then we can do the candle.
These man's got excited that you're here. Turned it into a whole football podcast. I'm sorry for all of the ladies listening.
If you're listening and you don't like it, charge it. Anyways, and we're here. We are Chargers to the Game. We are the podcast with the highest level of analysis the culture needs. I'm Uncle Jay, but you man can call me Jordan. I'm here with...
You know, it's your girl's favorite voice, Big Dej nigga with the Midas touch.
Second most light skin. Could have been a professional footballer if my knee didn't.
No.
Could have been playing I'm playing DM for United. But
bro, we have Mickey Mouse in the building with us. What is what?
Try something different, lads. Try something different.
Wait, did your girlfriend do it or did you?
Yeah, she did it.
Did she have to sit in between her legs?
She did it. She did it, and I was like, do you know who's gonna be the first guy that cooks me? Dej. It's gonna be Dej, 100%. 100%. She's like, are you sure? I was like, well, what if he cooks it? I was like, he's gonna cook me regardless. That's the thing. That's the thing with breaking in a new hairstyle.
Did she tell you that you look cute?
Yeah.
As a man, why you cute? Go on, Dej.
Nah, but yeah.
What do we have on the table there, man?
Lads, yeah, this podcast is brought to you by... Alright, for context, yeah. For context, yeah. They make fun of me because they think I'm putting this voice on like for the girls and shit. But it's just my voice.
I tell you what, it's not bad.
In his intro, he says it's your girl's favorite voice, so he has to bring it down a few decibels when he's talking like this. He doesn't talk like this normally. But if you guys weren't here, this is not how he talks. That's not how he talks normally. But yeah, go on.
But yeah, look, lads.
Okay.
This podcast is brought to you by Arome Candles, the best eco-friendly candles in the business, with a huge variety of scents that make you want to eat them. And trust me, we can smell these candles. But yeah, this is one of my favorite, lemon and lime. It's on the table. You know, it's the one that looks green.
Is it actually your favorite though?
No, it's actually not.
The one that smells like the cherry blossom. The cherry blossom is my favorite.
This one right here, yeah. Watermelon margarita.
Watermelon, yeah.
Don't touch me like that.
You told me. Deji's too straight. He's touched my penis on the podcast before. No. He was
the jeans or under the jeans?
Above the jeans.
I like Morgan.
Above the jeans. He was just like, I was like, what's happening right now? Sorry.
We progressed past this.
See, he's our resident sassy guy. Like, you know, he's a bit... He's on the spectrum.
I'm not on the spectrum.
Place on the flip. All of that.
Just off the shoulder. You know what I mean?
I get it. I love it.
But yeah, nah. Like, genuinely, this is actually my favorite one. Like, watermelon margarita. It smells amazing. You know, if you got a little something coming over, you know, you clean your room. Wait, actually, do you guys still do that? Like, you know, well, obviously you're married and you're in a relationship.
He's married, by the way, yeah.
You know, like when you have a girl coming over, yeah.
Don't ask me. I'm in a relationship as well.
Okay, back in the days when you had a girl. I like him. He covered himself quickly.
I need to do that. Disclaimer, I have a woman.
He said, leave me out of this right now. I'm not talking about this.
Back in the day when you'd have a girl coming over and you clean your room immaculately.
Yeah.
You
No, I never used the candle thing. I did clean my room immaculately, open the window. I wasn't like...
Bro.
Back in the day, you had to pay fucking €8 for a candle. I'm a student, man. I'm not paying €8 for a fucking candle.
Yeah, one of them.
Like, nobody's doing that.
That's fair. You love a candle though.
Yeah.
Bro,
just in general.
It sets the vibe, you know. Smells nice. Got the room looking all nicely lit.
And if you are the ones want to get the candle to set the vibe in the room, go for Arome's Candle. Right there. Follow them on Instagram, Arome's Candle. And we'll put the link, the videos, there's a website, you order everything. Our boy Morgan here took a card as well. Be like Morgan.
I'm taking this one home.
Yeah, Morgan is taking that one home. And if you're a guest on the podcast, we'll provide it.
Marshmallow fluff.
Give that to your girlfriend.
Look at that.
Give that to your girlfriend.
I will.
Yeah.
Let her know what's going on. You know the best thing, if you get her pregnant now, Project Mbappe is on.
So set the mood, get your girl pregnant with Arome's Candle. You were quick to say that though. How long are you in the relationship that you were so quick to be like, I'm in the relationship?
About 6 years now, yeah.
Your wife's off. Like,
I'm done. I'm out.
You're out the game.
I'm out the game.
There's nothing in the game there.
the game.
He loves the game.
No, you're in the game.
He's in the game.
I am putting the disclaimer out there for anybody listening. I do not love the game. I am a lover.
We're funning though.
I am a lover boy at heart.
No, but yeah, Arome's Candle.
Yeah, but
Go
yeah.
on Instagram, follow them. Shout out to my guy Ezzy, starting his own business. It's another pandemic business that took off, and he says it was very successful at the start, and let's get him back there. You know,
You know what? Bring back the pandemic, man.
Facts.
the what?
sir.
Bring back the pandemic.
No, don't bring it.
Nah, because you know what? Businesses are trying to tell you, come into the
Vibes.
office 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Come into the office. Fuck that shit, man.
Yeah, I know,
Like,
man.
I don't want to be in the office. Like,
Yeah.
I've come to the conclusion that I think I just hate work and people at work.
Do you work in an office now?
I work from home now.
Yeah.
Oh, you work from home now?
Yeah,
Okay.
but they keep trying to tell, just come into the office, just come to the office. I was like, for
The
what?
thing is,
No,
they give
not
us
fair.
the agency and the choice to like pick between going to office.
But it's not really a
And,
choice.
but it's a catch. It's a catch. Like it's literally like, oh yeah, go to the office, but like, you know, if your attendance is looking a bit shit, it's a bit like.
They just start noticing.
office,
No. It's true. If I'm home more than 2 days in a row, they start. You know those passive aggressive comments. It's like, "Oh, working from home again, are you?" Yeah, but leave me alone.
You know what? That's the thing I hate the most. Passive aggressive comment. Like I hate passive aggressive shit. Like just if you have something to say to me, just say it.
Yeah, but then it'll be confrontational. With the passive aggressiveness, I can pass it off as a joke. I'm only messing, man. You get what I mean? If I tell you, yo, you need to come into the office, you might be like, or what? You get defensive,
Yeah.
then it gets awkward.
Yeah.
So I just gotta leave it alone there.
But it shouldn't be an issue, you know, if they're giving you the option.
Bro, I'm with you.
We're politics again,
no-
man.
Bro,
Yeah.
like he's saying, he had to go to save the team from relegation. There's someone telling you that you have to do something,
Yeah.
even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You just have to
That
do
might
it
actually
because
affect your under 12 bro as well. So yeah, you know.
Lads, I started rewatching Breaking Bad because I just like when I work, I have to have something playing in the back. Have you guys seen Breaking Bad yet?
of course.
I've seen the first, like, how many seasons is there? What was the total?
4 or 5.
Five.
Five
We
seasons.
watched
Five. I think I've
two.
seen the first
We watched
two
the first two.
fully through.
Why did you stop?
And I've twice I've done it.
Why?
Twice.
No,
I
no,
went
no.
season 1 to 2. I
Yeah.
said, this is tops. And I just stopped.
No. Speak on it. No,
swear to God.
I was watching The Boys, yeah. The most chaotic, unhinged shit I've ever watched. I just stopped watching it in season 2. I was like, this is the best television I've ever watched.
Yeah, I
Season
don't
2,
know what I was
episode
doing.
1. I just forgot to watch it.
It gets so serious though, you know?
Yeah, it gets so serious. Like,
Bro,
you
I
have
was
to
like,
keep
oh.
up with it.
Walter is a piece of shit. Like watching it back, like because before I was like, I was rooting for him. Like, yeah, do your thing. You have cancer. Don't die. Leave your family.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
he's a piece of shit. Fuck him. Man.
It's called Breaking Bad, though. It's
No,
the
but
evolution
no.
of
See,
Heisenberg, like.
it's okay to be Breaking Bad, yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be a piece of shit while you do it. Like,
Bro,
No, because see, the best analogy is he got away to feed his ego. He is a piece of shit.
Oh, absolutely.
But because he missed out on the catch, on the lick when he was in that company. And
Yeah.
that company made a lot of money. So he found a way now to satisfy that side of him that missed out when he was younger. It's like, do you know if you grew up ugly? And then you start becoming good looking.
Yeah.
And all the women that rejected you back in the school days, you don't even like them like that anymore. You don't even think they look
I know what
good.
you mean.
But because they rejected you back in the days, you just have to fuck them.
prove a point. Yeah.
You just have to prove a point.
You're actually not wrong.
No, because
Have you had
that
wait,
was
have you
it.
had
He
that
was
situation?
feeding his ego.
Have you had
That's
that
it.
situation?
That I was.
He says the Nasdaq
Nah.
goes belly up before I stop doing this.
Wait. Stop. You haven't had a girl that's rejected you spin the block.
The thing is, I don't get rejected much.
Spin the block.
Yeah. They came back around.
They came back around. They was
I
like,
like that.
Morgan, I saw you training with
I'm gonna go with that.
with whoever, like Robbie Keane or something. They come back around. They come back
So that's
around.
never happened to you.
no, I've had a girl that like she was extremely attractive to me, but
Yeah.
back in school days, she'd have the guys with the cars pick her up. So I never attempted because I'm like, look, the level, the quality is like, I have to drive. I'm fucking 16 years old. I'm not going to drive. I see her in college days and she's looking at me and she's like, oh, why did you not make a move? I'm like, because the boys that were making a move on you, they had cars there. So she did spin the block, but she never rejected me because I never tried.
What about you, Dave?
I had a girl come back around and say, I made a mistake. Ooh, hear that bar.
how's your
Hear
ego
that
feel
bar.
after that?
Oh, my ego went there. Nobody could chat to me, like, honestly.
What about you guys?
See, I've
6
been
year
married for the last
relationship.
6 years, so
He's
I'm out
23
here.
in a 6-year relationship.
That's school. So I'm only 23.
17.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was
17.
young. I was
You know
young.
what? I've got a question for you, right? Because on this podcast, we're trying to, more diverse audience and stuff like that. And from the outside looking in, I have been told that white people know how to love. Bro, if you guys fall in love after like 2 weeks, what the fuck is going on with that?
That is the Joe what? You're not wrong either. You're not wrong. It depends who you're talking. But you're like, who else? No, you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong.
I need answers.
Exhilarating question. This is the time. We need to get the answers.
This guy is crazy. Do you know where he got that notion from? Watching Love Island.
Yeah.
That's where he got. He watched Love Island, and he said,
Yeah.
"How they know after 2 weeks?"
After a minute, like,
I'd say 3 weeks.
Is that how quick you said I love you to your missus?
Oh, it was quick. I was in. I was in. Now I'm in. And
No,
that's it.
but I understand because when you're 17 or whatever age you were, like 16, 17,
I would've
then
been about 17.
yeah, at the time,
Yeah.
you just feel things more because you're younger. So everything's like it's more like even when you play football, the excitement of just going to training was just a bit more. So I get it. When you're maybe a
Yeah.
bit younger,
Yeah.
it's easier to feel things because I have 30-year-old friends now that are single. They could be in a relationship for like a year and they're still skeptical because they've gone through much shit.
Okay,
It just
I get
breaks their brain like not as accepting of like love.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong, but yeah, I was fairly all in, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
life.
But it
now.
worked out.
No, without
It worked
doubt,
out.
no. So
When
now
you
I'm
put
in.
a ring
But
on it, though.
you're dead right because I think almost everyone I know was all in. So like, within 2 weeks, they're like, yeah, fuck it.
Isn't that better?
that's
You
so
know what?
wild to me.
Well, if it's real though.
Do you know
Be
what?
real though. You can't just be
Sometimes
taking
it's
the
not
piss.
even real,
like.
man.
That's
Sometimes
the
it's not even
problem.
real.
People are like after 2 weeks, I
Yeah.
have to say it. I have to say it, and then they're locked in.
I'm sorry, I have to put him under. Yeah.
Don't say his name, bro.
I won't say his name, of course. So we're sitting there like at the bar or whatever. I see the girl's the screensaver. And I'm like, oh, that's mad. So it's a, like progress kind of thing. He's like, oh, it's in the works. Okay, so like, why is she your screensaver then? He's like, oh, I'm working on it. All right, but like,
Okay, then that's a bit dicey. That's a bit
Bro.
dicey.
That's weird. That is because
Yeah,
you know what, if she
weird. I
sees
didn't
that-
want to say it, but
If she sees that, she's like, "Why the fuck am I your screensaver?"
Yeah.
Imagine you're going around telling anybody that's your girlfriend, and she's going around telling everybody, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?"
no, even me, I don't think it was like,
You know, she's telling him like, "Oh yeah, I'm just chatting to this guy." Yeah, that's you. And you're, oh, that's my babes.
Well, back to that, I think it's like they're going for it immediately because, like you said, he's saying white people love quick. Have you ever heard of the talking stage?
talking.
Talking stage, the
yeah.
quote talking stage.
He's like, is that what it
See,
says?
see,
Talking. Do you mean like as in like face to face or just like you're
Same
texting? You're texting phase.
bro, let me explain this to you.
Sorry,
Yes,
Let me explain this. Let me explain this. Yeah.
Okay.
Black people do situations and talking stage.
Okay.
See how you were like quick in love, 2 weeks in, you were in.
Mm-hmm.
People from our community will do 6 weeks, 6 months later, and you'll ask them, "Oh, so what are you?" And they'll tell you, "Oh, we're just chilling. Like,
like,
it's
we're-
not serious. It's
we're
not
just
serious."
chilling,
So
like,
I
it's
think
fine.
I
Do
think
exclusive.
love and quick is better.
Yeah. Nothing quick is better.
Depends on the
Bro,
context. If you
don't listen
actually
to-
like them though, that's the
Don't
thing. You actually
listen to
have to
this
love
guy.
them.
Bro.
Don't listen to this
Bro.
guy. He was best friends with his missus for 5 years before they actually got together.
Yeah, exactly. Think about it.
Yeah. So, and how are things now?
We're married.
Yeah, he's married.
You're married.
Yeah,
so
he's
you are
married.
taking the piss. You actually are married.
He's moving chess pieces before.
Okay.
And it's one of our crew people as well. You hear there 6 years, his eyes lit up. I'm year 5 as
Congratulations.
well.
Congratulations. You're 5. Yeah.
No, I'm
nice.
year 6 this year actually. Yeah,
Very nice.
Bro, just sign the contract, man. Slap the ring on that. Just call it a day, man.
Because at this stage now, like we're both 6 years. Like it's either all in or kind of nothing now. Like
If you're in it for 6 years, and you're like, you're in real trouble. Like,
Yeah.
trying to get out of that,
No,
you're in
you
real
are.
trouble.
Have you never had doubts though? Because you're in
No.
it a long time, so you've been sure
Yeah.
forever.
Why are you such a? Who would admit that on camera?
yeah,
But irregardless,
I would say there was no. I would have. I would admit that there was moments that I was thinking, is this it for me?
Yeah, but
and I had to analyze that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
see, it's different. You've locked it down. You're married now. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
but he's
really going into
after
it.
6 years. If he says no, there was a month in January 2019.
Yeah.
I had a doubt. That's not bad.
yeah.
no, that wouldn't be bad to say, but no,
Yeah.
genuinely, no.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Wait, so you wouldn't admit that you have that? What's gonna happen? Like,
He's not saying flat out on no.
Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's just wrecking my head here too. Like,
I'm not-
you know what I mean?
yeah,
No,
I'm
there's
just-
obvi- no. There's obviously like
Like, yeah, there was like, oh no, there was a
pitfalls
moment
as well,
in
actually, and
2018
stuff
that
like
I wasn't
that,
sure we are gonna make
Yeah.
it. You could say that. That's not.
yeah, but you know, sometimes context is always taken out of context.
Yeah, then have a conversation with her in person.
Yeah, but
in context.
Yeah, but see, the thing is right. It's on camera. You don't know when her friend forwards the episode to her. She listens and then she's
And then you're getting
steaming
grabbed, yeah.
for like 3 days before she comes to you.
You should do quality control. Do you know what I do? If I talk about something, when I talk about something I know it's a bit dicey, I go home and explain to my missus. I'm like, oh, we're talking about having doubts in a relationship. So I might have said, and then she'll already know. So if someone
So you're
says it to
planting
her,
seeds. You're planting
Yeah,
seeds.
exactly.
My girlfriend doesn't
Chess
listen.
pieces. This guy gets it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Married life.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
My girlfriend doesn't listen to podcasts. I'm in the clear.
That's why he be saying.
Oh, doesn't listen to the podcast?
Yeah, it'd be that one that I'm talking mad. She'd be like, oh yeah, I was listening to in the gym. I was like, oh really? That's great. Like, minute 35.
sure, he had a clip once that he said that he settled essentially, like something like that. He didn't say that, but it's easy to interpret it that way. She doesn't watch the podcast. She saw that clip. She sent it to him. Was like, did you settle with me?
So it sounds right. I was trying to give context to the idea of settle because I was a bit like, oh, there's negative connotations around settle. A lot of people mistake peace for boredom kind of thing. I was a bit like, you probably know being long-term relationship, like a lot of people mistake, like we're talking to one of our guys and he was saying, one of the guys, I know the girl broke up with him after year 5 because she just got bored. Because she mistake like peace and kind of, compromise and just kind of living together and being one as being, oh shit, like on a more existential level, like, oh, this is boring. Do you know what I mean? Is this just what I have now from year 6 onwards, year fucking 25, whatever, But I'm giving this big explanation, right? This girl didn't even give it 10 seconds. She just heard me say, oh, I've settled. I said I've settled, but it's not a bad thing, like, do you know what I mean? So,
See why you don't admit stuff like that on camera.
yeah, I mean,
We should probably stop talking, lads. What are we doing?
we're open book. We're
here.
open book.
Jordan's gonna come in the pod next week. Yeah, so guys, I'm no longer married.
Go for me.
But you know what? Yeah, I was thinking randomly. I was thinking about school the other day, right? And do you guys remember the fight compilations that you'd make in school, and everyone sent it around? Like it'd be
A fight?
fight compilations. Like
Yeah.
you know when
man.
like everybody used to record fights,
Yeah.
and then someone would take all the fights, put it together, put some techno music on it, and send it around to the boys.
I think I missed that era.
Yeah.
I remember the
That
fight,
did not
yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
That was a country thing. That was an apple. that wasn't
that
me.
didn't happen
No,
for you guys?
no, I didn't happen for us.
Nah, what? So you didn't get Jordo versus Anto?
No.
Oh, no, we did outside the Little before, yeah.
Yeah, and then what's called, because obviously before like all these things, so it'd be like one grainy video of 2 lads.
It'd be raw footage, raw footage, definitely. I remember the raw footage, never the compilation with the techno music.
There was no cap cut back then.
There was no edit.
Oh, maybe the man
The fights
would
with edits
just.
these days.
Oh.
You
Does that
always
still happen?
fights.
Like fights obviously happen, but are they getting recorded the same way they were?
They have to.
Surely
I don't
They
think
have
so
to be
because I
getting
haven't.
recorded more now.
Bro, I don't even think fights be happening anymore, man. These kids are too cool with the social media thing.
Nah, there's no way fights don't happen.
Maybe,
used to
but
fight
we would
over-
know,
We used
man.
to fight over everything.
They happen, but I wouldn't say they're as frequent though.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
I just think
Softer generation.
No, because actually think about it. How many like 13-year-olds do you actually know?
Even if you don't, it's easier to go viral. If there was a mad 13-year-old fight in Ireland, it would come out somehow.
Yeah, but
My sister's 14.
Yeah.
So she doesn't really talk about
Maybe you need
fights.
to ask your sister,
Well,
because I'm telling you, there has to be fights.
I remember it used to happen as quick back in the day as, oh, I'm stronger than you. No, fuck off, I'm stronger than you.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
then
no,
it's
that's it.
Ali, bro, it happened like
And then
that.
someone just-
I
someone
literally
needs to
landed
call it.
myself in one bite. I'm not a fighter, lads. Like, I'm not a fighter. But literally, I was literally like, I get a bit egotistical on the whole strength thing. So this is just like, oh yeah, no, like I'm stronger than you. It's like, all right, fight then. It's like, yeah, but is this the way we determine who's stronger? Like, you know what I mean? That's our way. It's like, no, I'm ready to fight. I'm like,
Daytime.
Why did everyone used to get so excited for fights after? Like it's like Chinese whispers.
It was lit when it wasn't you.
Jordan's fighting after school. Like you're gonna,
It's one of the first. It's one of the first sports. It's like it's not as primal.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
it's like
true.
when you
Yeah,
hear
it's
about a
just-
fight,
it's
it something primal happens
It
in
is
your
primal.
brain. It's like
Yeah.
the strongest, the biggest was decided that way. So when we hear about it till today, it's like, oh, I'm ready to, even like a race back when you're younger, says I'm faster than you. Whatever was primal that could get you like mano y mano. Just triggered. Were you guys in fights when you were young, or did you have to protect
We
them?
went to a relatively
Mild.
we're from Maynooth, so I mean it
Oh,
was
Maynooth.
Yeah, Maynooth,
I lived in Maynooth for a while actually.
yeah, I mean it was a cat. Come here. I had some crazy shit happening in my ear now at times, but I mean my group of friends and all that sort of thing where it was just calm and peaceful. If I'm being honest with you,
Yeah.
I mean. Anything that could have been solved with fists was kind of solved through conversation. As boring as that sounds, I
Yeah,
mean,
we sound super soft.
no, I mean, it
No,
is.
that's good.
On nights out and all, I mean, we've had to throw a few punches here and there, but I mean, to be honest with you, compared to what other people are like at my age, like the 95, mid-90s era, I mean, I mean, I haven't seen anything. Compared to like, our dad, some stories he used to grow up in on James Street, went to school in James Street, they'd be fighting every single day. I mean, like pulling teeth out of people, smashing faces against like logs, and then they wouldn't even get in trouble. They wouldn't be nothing. Now I would fight. Actually, that was one thing I was going to say. One reason why kids probably don't even fight now is because the consequences are much bigger. It's just there's a phone on somebody everywhere now.
Yeah.
And if you get knocked out, yeah.
That's on the internet forever.
That's on the internet. That's in the archive forever.
But do you think there's like more? What's that bullying when it's online?
What?
What's the bullying called? You know when it's online?
Cyber.
Bullying.
Yeah.
Do you think there's more cyber? I've always thought that was so stupid. Like, just turn your phone off.
It's easier said than done because the phone now is like part of their like, limb.
Log out. It really is.
This guy is crazy.
I'm carrying this.
I'd love to see Dangerous kids say they're being cyberbullied or something. They're just like, give me your phone. I'll end it right now.
You know, you can turn off the comments, right? Like, just turn off the comments.
Yeah, there's definitely ways of getting out of it. A lot of people, we always say it, even just day to day. So they're just so unself-aware of what like is going on, especially as a young kid now. Which you're right, like just stay away from what the issues are. It could be now easier said than done, like you said.
I have to bring
you're
up
on it
football
all
for
day.
a second because while we're touching on that topic, do you think footballers? Because I had this question in mind because I was looking at Rashford's kind of form, and I always find that Rashford's form it always correlates to like what's the Twitter narrative around him. So obviously I was saying Rashford's that guy for like a week, and now he's like hogging the ball. He's not wanting to do anything. And then last year when Rashford was getting shit, his confidence looked deflated. So I was gonna ask, like, even with the Sancho thing going on right now, like Sancho got bullied off of everywhere on Twitter. Do you think footballers should have limits on kind of how much on social media? Because they are humans like us, and they should have the agency to be on. They should be able to just go on Twitter when they want, right? Like YouTube, Instagram. But the reality is they don't really have that privilege. There's obviously the sacrifices.
It's the nature of the job, though. You're gonna have to live with it. For me, if I was playing professional football, I would probably wouldn't be on social media. Yeah. Now, in the modern game, you look at like players that come to mind, Rashford, Sancho, Jesse Lingard, a lot of why they're so big is their brand is huge. Like, but for me as a footballer, I think you should be a footballer and then worry about the branding and stuff after. That's probably an old school point of view though. And for a lot of players, they won't get that opportunity after because they're pro footballers at the time. They're riding the wave of being in the media every single week. Yeah. So they kind of need that time to I need to develop my personality and so on. But like for me personally, I don't think footballers should be involved as much in social media as they probably are. But that is the nature of the game now. Like we know, like agents and stuff would go and make sure that all their players that they have under them are verified and stuff, just to make sure that they're verified. Who cares? Like, why is that a thing? Like,
well, I think it's a thing because like I feel like in the next 10 years we're going to see it with Messi and Ronaldo. As soon as Ronaldo's career is over, he's going to keep going, like because he's just a massive brand. But Messi, on the other hand, he's kind of Messi football. Do you get what I'm saying? So after your career, it's kind of important. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Especially in the day and age that we are now, because not everyone is going to get the Sky Sports pundit job.
Yeah, that's very true. For a lot of players, who maybe aren't.
Like Messi might be fine because he's the greatest of all time, so he'll be fine. But like Jesse Lingard, for example, who like he's a good footballer that we will remember. I was like, oh yeah, I remember Jesse Lingard, but for the most part, he's not really gonna do. The name won't do much, so I understand why maybe someone like Lingard would focus on their brand. They have a 10-15 year window to create that brand, and hopefully he can continue to give them opportunities. It just goes back to that legacy versus money kind of debate. So Lingard, I understand someone if you're maybe a Jesse Lingard, you're not as focused on legacy because you're not that you're not gonna have much of one, but it probably won't be able to sustain you financial career afterwards.
Yeah, long term. Football's a very short career. Yeah. Very short. I think people forget that. Like, people will work up until they're 60, 65. Footballers are done, if you're lucky, by like 31, 32, and that's it. For the majority of, when we say pro footballers, we think of like Premier League and stuff. Pro football, for the majority of people, is like very minimal money. Like, you'd be playing professional football, even the likes of League One, League Two, still unbelievable careers. You can have a great footballing career, but long term, that's it once you finish, and a lot of the money is not going to sustain you. So I do understand it from that point of view. But again, probably my old school, I know I'm young, we're involved massively in social media. It's our biggest thing. And I see both point of views. But like if you're playing well, if you're consistently playing well as a footballer, that will just look after.
You'll look after yourself. Yeah,
that's what I would say.
Now, that smile a bit, like, you know.
It needs to be contextualized. That doesn't just go across every single player, every single person. Everyone is different, and Jesse Lingard's a very big personality, so he's a good example of someone who does quite well on socials. He's a very bubbly guy, and I know he's after doing that podcast that probably I need to go listen to.
Yeah, same. I need to watch that as well.
So that'll be interesting to hear his point of view and stuff. And we were only chatting about it earlier. So I do understand where those players are coming from, that they kind of need to think long term. But again, if it's being detrimental, not always, but if it is being detrimental to your footballing career, you're a footballer first. Like, that's your job.
No, I get it. It shouldn't be to a detriment of your career. Obviously, we're on the topic of social media now. Have you guys seen it affect young kids? Like, cause you're coaching young. I don't know what age group you coach. Sorry,
6 years old to pro.
Okay, have you guys seen the effects of social media on like the younger generation, or maybe like you're saying they're in the dressing rooms, they're more worried about their phones, taking the pictures? Have you noticed that the shift yet at that level?
I mean, it's scary if anything.
Yeah,
players see I do feel sorry for players. I mean, the pressures that they have now, like especially with young lads that are like 16 to 18 and they're in and around trialing with Category 1 clubs, let's say like a Spurs, and you're walking into a Spurs dressing room and 18-year-olds have, you know, 600 quid Gucci t-shirts or Louis Vuitton bags, and it's an intimidating place to be. Definitely. So I do feel sorry for them, but it all comes down to the lack of education and security around social media as a whole. I think people forget that staff as coaches and directors are so focused on producing footballers, they're not focused on producing people. Or definitely they could be thinking about it, but they just don't have the resources for it, unfortunately. And we see it all the time. I mean, we've picked out some bad apples just by what they're putting on TikTok lives, on Instagram lives. I mean, and they're not even directly involved with us, but we still see it, and instantly we get a bad opinion on it. I mean, to be honest with you, the data correlates. If I see somebody's, if I see an Instagram live for, let's say, somebody that's in an Irish camp, so let's say they're with an Irish team under 16s and they're on an Instagram live after losing 2-0, it instantly puts a bad rep on them. And there's some great stories on footballers. I don't know if you guys know a guy called Reece O'Barra who
he does.
I've heard of him. Yes, Reece O'Barra.
Manny Devoire is the CEO. But he was one of Manchester City's biggest prodigies. But he speaks really well about how he was drawn to the more luxury lifestyle at a younger age, and how the senior players didn't protect him, and how all other players essentially didn't protect him in that sense. Not blaming them, but kind of like, geez, I should have my eyes a bit more open at that stage. And I think social media has now put like a light in the petrol bomb for that now. It's kind of exploded everything, because you're seeing every Gucci bag. You're seeing, you know, every person that's driving, you know, a McLaren car at 18.
Andrew Tate's not helping that case either, is he?
Sometimes I see some things and I'm like, we can't be spending the same currency. The money that I'm making and the money that you're spending, it doesn't correlate.
It's all fake though. I mean, come here, I have we got some pretty good contacts in relation to how footballers deal and operate with money, and the kind of links back to what you were saying about Jesse Lingard and all. There's more ways to make money than just your digital leverage on social media. A lot of players will go into debt to buy cars. A lot of you'd be surprised the amount of footballers that don't have any savings. Like they are, like their cost of living is nearly, let's say, for example, 600 grand a week. Yeah. For example, just to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
Like
fucking hell.
Who was it? It was Akinfenwa. He was saying that. Like, he literally bought the big G-Wagon, went out. He was paying something crazy.
It was in League 2 at the time. I remember you were telling me, I listened to 3 shots on that episode.
Like sometimes I see the Gaffster in even. I'm like, you're playing League 2. Like that doesn't even add up.
But you know what it is? I feel like people hear salaries like, oh, 10K a week, and they contextualize it into, that's like 4 times what I'm earning a month. He must be loaded, but it's kind of like also his expenses going out. Also 10K a week.
In my opinion, from what I've seen in business and football, is money education and financial education is by far where people our age are the poorest. They have zero education in finance and wealth.
Do you guys find that it's like maybe not your responsibility, because you're obviously you're coaching young men, you're coaching. Do you find that the burden of responsibility of like, okay, maybe your job is to be a football coach, but also to look out for them as people, or do you leave that at home with the parents, or what's your role in this?
People first.
Yeah.
Like what? One player might be a pro in our system. I mean, I used to work with a coach in UCD. He said, I don't know why you want to be a footballer. It could be one of the hardest things you'll ever do. More people come out of football and Category 1 academies with mental health issues than any other industry. Got to be very careful what you're going into.
That's a point. Like, I think Moyo was saying it to me. It's like at 9 years old, they're telling these kids like you're not good enough, essentially, and constantly facing that rejection. Like you're saying, something that you're loving, you're passionate, you put so much time into. I can see how that affects you mentally.
You obviously. Dave made a joke earlier on saying that, like, oh, the only reason I didn't become pro is because I got injured. But like, I don't think people. I
don't know why you said that. Why you said it was a joke?
No, because I know it's something that like a load of us joke about, right? But it's one of those things like, let's say from the age of 5 till the age of like 19, that is your one goal in life.
Yeah.
Like I know a kid, he's like 12 now, and he wants to be a footballer. That's all he wants to do. But it's just like, you might reach 18 and then realize that you're just not good enough to, like Moyo, right? My friend that's coaching Fulham, he went for a bunch of trials and he literally made it to the last stage, and he was like one of the last people cut, and that like broke him, and he was like, bro, like, so I'm actually not good enough to do this. Like that, like it's fucking like it's hard, like,
and it's such a small margin thing to kind of break through in, and it's kind of like a lot of people just invest so much of their time in it. And even like, I was listening to John Fashanu on another podcast as well, and he's even saying like, we don't even think of an aspect of like even players when they're in football as well. We, like you said, like it's the support point you make, we create footballers in almost like this kind of, you know, mechanical, like robot. We don't create people sometimes, so we don't let them know that there's other kind of, you know, avenues you can go into even post football as well. He said like there was clauses in like footballers' contracts, like David Seaman's at the time, like where they didn't want you doing reality TV show, they didn't want you doing ice skating, they didn't want you doing any of this sort of stuff. So
no, but I understand that.
Huh?
Don't go skateboarding and break.
No. Bro, we need to win the league. In retirement. In retirement. So he said in retirement there was a clause in David Seaman's contract. He can't go on any sort of ice skating show, any sort of athletic show. It's kind of like it sets a bad precedent. And then like you're gonna see players that are still in careers wanting to do it. Well, I was thinking a bit like, you know, and John Fashanu said it, it's like sometimes like it's like you can't escape football, even when you're virtually doing nothing in football. So it's kind of like you're forced to kind of create your own avenues. You have to go into like real estate. He has like 88 houses in like Nigeria or whatever. Do you think there's enough put in place from even the infant stage of being a footballer all the way through to, like even in Ireland, is there any sort of schemes put in place to kind of show footballers like there's other avenues or?
I mean, there's much better access points like the ETB courses in Foss and Cabra. I do really well. So if, for example, you come back from England, and one of my best mates actually runs one of them in Cabra. If you come back from England, there is a resource there the FBI have where you can go straight into getting a level 5 and level 6 degree and then continue your journey from there. I think the big thing, and I think Morgan would agree with me, is that a lot of young players associate their identity with being a footballer. Like they'll have footballer in their bio. I mean, they're a child. They may have made a cent off football. You're not a footballer. You know what I mean? I think it's and the biggest issue, and I'll scream this. This is a hill that I'll die on. Is parents are majority extremely toxic.
Oh
wow! Like kind of pageant parents sort of thing going on, is it? Like,
we've just unaware.
Do you think that's because a lot of parents, maybe I don't know your level, because I was watching there's a Netflix documentary called South of the River. Rio Ferdinand hosts it. It's about because South London is a big hub for like quality footballers, and it's also a relatively poor place in London. So a lot of parents see their kids as like meal tickets. Like if they make it, we like. Kylian Mbappe signing 600 million contracts. If we can get 1% of that, we have 6 million. So it's like, do you think parents are like seeing their kids as like, this is a meal ticket out of whatever or into a different lifestyle?
For a lot, yeah. Like definitely in areas like that, you probably would see it. They see the money side of it. But here, for example, a lot of the players we see who are like that, they have a huge ego from a young age, generally fueled by by parents themselves or just bad people in their circle and so on. And even coaches and stuff, social media doesn't help and so on. They're posting videos and photos and they're just looking for constant reinforcement and clout, which is not good. Like that's not good for someone.
Social media is fucking us over. I'm really, because that's the second time. Because last time someone explained what social media is doing in terms of the dating scene, how it's like they explained the dynamic that social media created in terms of dating. Now I'm listening to what the dynamic social media is creating in terms of sports.
Now,
so my brain is just
for me. Social media again, I think it gets a bad rep because social media is very good. It's just exposed people. So like people were like that anyway. Now they're just getting it a little bit quicker. So like an ego kick now is coming from. Like I could score, let's say a hat trick at the weekend. I could post a video of those 3 goals like that on my story, and I get that immediate feedback straight away from everyone telling
gratification,
me
how great you were.
100%, you get that right away. While, let's say, 20 years ago, the word would get around. I'd be fueled ego at my next training session, or if I see the kids in school or whatever.
You have to wait for the paper on Monday to see your name.
It's the same thing.
No, but it's also different because if you post a worldie like if you score a worldie goal and now you're on compilations on YouTube and all this kind of stuff, you're getting gratification from millions of people. As opposed to probably 30 people.
Like,
do you get what I'm saying? Like,
usually after, like when I was young, all you'd get is like that little snippet in the paper, in the metro, that free newspaper, and then you go around showing your dad, you bring it to school around the next day. Like it was so funny because your town, like you guys grew up in Maynooth, I grew up in Balbriggan, so your town was your world. Once your town, like you go around, now they're getting gratification from everybody. Like you could see today did you send me a song that J. Cole, the rapper, he just hopped on a beat that someone made on YouTube saying J. Cole type of beats, and he made it. So the internet has created this space where J. Cole can see me just like that.
Infinite leverage.
So you
infinite leverage.
Yeah,
which is great.
Which is
it's great for the majority of things. Obviously, there's positives and negatives. For me, the majority of it is positive. We spoke about this before on one of our podcasts about like social media and football. The majority is positive. But for young kids, they don't need that constant reinforcement and gratification. It's probably the last thing they need is just constantly getting egos filled. And again, that goes back to like parents need to be very aware of that. Like we see kids, even some in our sessions and so on, that are like 10, 11 years old, posting footage of themselves and just getting this constant reinforcement of yourself. Then it becomes that identity where I'm a footballer. And if one thing goes wrong, which is good, like there's nothing wrong with failure or so on, whether that be I don't make a trial or have a bad game. That shouldn't just be like, right, I'm a bad person. That's what it's becoming. Is that your whole identity is crushed, which is not correct. You're a human. Then you also play football, so and you're not a footballer.
It comes from parent conditioning first. Do you think
some of it? Now, not all of it. Every it needs to be contextualized. It's case by case, but parents we see for quite frequently are not helping the scenario.
I'm sorry, before we move on, I'm just thinking of that scene from Football's Next Star. Did you ever watch that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jamie Redknapp, where that one kid goes to play for Inter and he's like, I'm going to be the best thing you've ever seen. And his dad just fully encourages it as well. Like, and this guy can't even dribble through.
It's just a lack of self-awareness.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just...
What's called, to double back, because obviously you guys said you were from Maynooth and Jordan said that he's from Balbriggan and all that. And like your town is like your hub and everything. I was wondering, because for me and a lot of people I know, like obviously we're what are we, immigrants? Yeah, we're immigrants and shit like that. Yeah. I couldn't think of the word. Yeah, but like I don't feel like, all right, so for us it's kind of weird. Well, for me anyways, I'll speak for myself. I don't particularly feel like I'm Irish, even though I've been here since I was like 4. But I claim I'm Nigerian, but if I go back to Nigeria, I'm that Irish kid. Do you get what I mean? So I don't feel a sense of connection to Ireland like that. And the way the government is fucking up the country, I am more inclined to leave than anything else, right? But I feel like that's a lot of people that aren't like actually traditionally Irish. Do you get what I mean? Like I feel like we don't feel a tie to the country and stuff like that. Do you guys feel like you're gonna be in Ireland forever or whatever? Like with the way the whole cost of living crisis and all that kind of stuff.
Good question, man. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I love Ireland and stuff, but I think both of us obviously we're brothers, but we're also very close. Like, so we're very similar in how we think and so on. Obviously, I feel a connection to Ireland, but I'm not like. Do you know the way some people are so Irish? Like it's their whole identity. It's just their whole identity.
Sometimes people are not even Irish. They're so from like where they're from. Like I'm from Balbriggan. Some people are so from Balbriggan.
Yeah.
Like you just can't picture them. You can't picture them not being in that town.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. People get it. Finn was talking about this last night. That people in Maynooth, it's just that it's like they were just grown out of the pavements and they just stayed there. There's nothing else going on in their life.
That's so funny to me because literally there's people where I see that they grow up in a town and they buy a house 3 doors down from their mother's house.
Yeah.
What?
To stay in the area.
It's like, and it's like,
yeah, that happens a lot.
even in my school, right? There was one kid or whatever, and the teacher was like, "I taught your grandfather." No, he's like, "I taught your father. I taught you," and then he taught his son as well.
See,
And
I
I'm just
actually
like, that's crazy
understand.
to
I
me.
understand that more, especially because we don't have family here. So I understand me wanting to be close to my family, because as I grow my own family, I want all my family to be close. I understand that if you live in a town and all your grandmothers, your cousin, everybody live in that town, I actually understand it. Because when I had to buy my house, obviously, we're looking at areas close to home. After a while, I was like, yeah, because this is my family. At the end of the day, they're in this town. So that one, I actually,
But don't fingers down, like.
I get that more.
Sometimes
Yeah,
I've envied that as well, because like I'm like Jordan. I'm out in Balbriggan as well, and like I have a lot of family that are kind of based on my dad's side. I have family that are like based in Inchicore, and admittedly, I'm not as close to them as I could be. On the other hand, as well, with my mom's from Zambia, so she has a lot of family in Zambia. She has a lot of family in England and stuff like that, and even. I nearly have a closer bond with, like, I literally had my cousin on the last episode here. I have a closer, but they're far away from me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm kind of in Balbriggan by myself. So I'm the same. Like, if I had that level of community I can build amongst my family, I kind of get why people do it.
yeah.
Like for me, I'm ready to dip out the country. Like I'm ready. Like the thing is, I just feel like there gets to a certain level that the way the country is going, and like, okay, I'm 27. And if I want to go rent a house by myself, I have to pay like what, $2,000 a month to get something decent. It doesn't make any sense. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like it kind of stunts our growth in the way of like people are being forced to stay at home longer. Some people that should probably be able to buy houses and stuff can't buy houses and stuff. Do you get what I'm saying? And because I don't really feel that like deep connection, like I'm not gonna lie, Ireland is home. It's been home for over 20 years now. But I also don't feel that connection of like, I feel like I have to stay here or I need to stay here. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then I was just wondering, do Irish people feel like that? Like when it's like, because I know a lot of Irish people go to like Australia and all that kind of stuff. But do you feel that, do I really want to leave? Am I really ready to leave the country and stuff like that?
The only reason I wouldn't, if for example, if I don't know what I'm going to end up doing, but I'd like to remain close to my man and dad. I would say for as long as possible.
That's
and if, for example, if they pass away long term, well then it's like, right.
Yeah.
I always have family to come back to. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Depends what you want to do. It also depends the context of like what's going on in your life at the time. It might be a terrible time to go away. Someone in your family could be sick. Like for us, all of our family are here. So if we need to look after our ma or dad, you kind of need to be there. And I think I'd like to do that. But other than that, I've no like nothing else is kind of grabbing me. For now, training 1-to-1 is here. So this is where I function. This is where where Amy is living as well. So other than those two pillars, family, three, family training.
But that's such a big one.
It's
Like it's so you can't even like downplay that, because family is the pillar. It's not just like a pillar. It's like I'm literally what you said. I'm the same mindset, because my parents are getting older, and as you get older, you see them get older, and you're kind of like, fuck, they're gonna need me more and more now as they get older. Do you know that kind of way? So maybe like I get what you're saying now, having the connection, but the connection is to my family, and because they're here, so that kind of way. I'm like looking at I should stay here. But I wanted to ask you guys, what is training 1-to-1?
Everything. Everything.
No, he's genuine.
It's literally we live it every single day. Like training 1-to-1, we were speaking about having like an unbreakable model and so on. In terms of business model, you just can't replicate what we do. You could try copy things and so on, but it's literally an extension of me, Gary, and the other Gary. Yeah. So like our personality comes through it, and you can't. I don't think you can replace that.
How did it start?
It started when I was in transition year. So when I was 15, I made the page, not knowing what it was going to be. I named it, created the logo and so on, done all that. And then when it came to 6th year, that's when Gary, the other Gary, texted me and was like, "You still doing that thing?" And we're like, right, we'll just go out and record some content. And that was it. It just started taking off. And
you work with your brother, obviously.
Yeah. So the three of us are co-founders.
Okay, what's that like business-wise? Like working with your brother? And
great.
Is Gary not a brother, just a friend?
Gary went to school with G-Man, yeah. So
he's my best mate since we were kids. And he's Morgan's best mate as well. Morgan was really mature as a teenager.
Oh, okay.
I only found when in his year, he couldn't particularly connect with any people his age, so he's always mates with my mates. 3.5 years onwards, like. But like me and Morgan are inseparable as brothers, which I think is odd. And every single like use case I've heard of family businesses, like don't go to business with your family because if somebody makes a balls of it, you're going to ruin everything. So I mean, it's a risk in that sense, but I don't see it as a risk. I wouldn't go into business with anybody unless I could trust my life with them.
You can have absolute trust.
So I
like
mean,
we said on our podcast before, like it is strange. Obviously, we live together. We live still at home with our mum and dad. But our desks are literally like side by side. So we see each other all day, every day. Then we go to sessions in the evening. We're both on the same pitch, right? And it's
Save
pretty
on
much
petrol,
non-stop. So it's all day.
Yeah.
When we get up in the morning, this morning we got up at like 7:15. We go to the gym together. Then we go start working at 9. Our videographer was over today, Nilo, and we just worked all day up until we came here.
And the fact you and the whole thing with training 1-to-1, what was kind of the inception of that? Did you see kind of like there wasn't enough of that in this country? Like, because obviously that's the question I have to ask. Like, it's not really there. And like, did you adopt kind of other formats from like say like English organizations or whatever, like say Rising Ballers, for instance?
So mental coaching's huge everywhere, bar here. Yeah. Well, everywhere. I say everywhere. And so England,
everywhere.
it's massive. In the US, it's massive. Australia, it's massive as well. There was nothing here. It's something we were quite passionate about. Obviously, we were into football, into coaching, but we're quite good at it as well. So we think that's a good market that we can get into. And to be honest with you, it was never like a conscious thing, but it just evolved into what it is now, just because it's our identities coming through it. But like kids now would train, if they're lucky, maybe twice a week. If you want to get better at something, twice a week for an hour, and how much of that hour are you actually training and getting? It's very minimal, very minimal. So from a football perspective, kids need it without a doubt. They need extra training, and again, like so, a lot of Irish-based things are very against what we do, which is strange because we're providing an extra training day, extra environment.
But you're like you're disrupting the market. It's like kind of like Jake Paul doing boxing. People hate on it because he's disrupting what's traditionally there and it's work. So you're 100%. Like a disruptor for them. They're like, oh, get these guys out of here.
Like in football's a weird culture because it's the biggest sport in the world. Played by the most people, as far as I'm aware. I think statistically that's correct though. And everyone's really against innovation in it. So like when new tech comes out with like supplemental coaching. So in basketball, every single NBA player has their own personal coach. And they only work technique. They work shots in isolation. They work specific techniques for months and years on end.
From a college level
from a baby level, they are doing it. Same in any sport. You go to any tennis, anything. Team sports, individual sports. Everyone does it. But in football, it's like, no, you shouldn't be doing that.
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea.
It's like there's a conflict or something because then I have to go back to the Sunday coach and it's like, oh yeah, like,
you can't be doing
Morgan
extra.
touch me. How did you touch it? I just need you to hold up the ball. Don't do any more than that. Yeah, but Morgan told me to get the ball, turn like this. You know what I mean?
Again, I think a lot of ego comes into that as well. Like we have players who work with us who also work with other supplemental coaches who also like what we do is aid team session. We're not trying to say stop your team sessions, come train with us. It's we're trying to aid. Try get this player better, and it could be chasing like one specific technique. Obviously, the more professional players we work with will go into very micro detail and chase. Like for example, one of the players we work with, and we kind of always refer to him because he's been in with us for years. Jordan Adiemo, he's with Wexford now. He plays up top. We worked on a shift and hit finisher. We call it the Coutinho finish because he's excellent at it. We worked on that for like 4 months straight.
It's mad that
just
I see that on the page.
I know exactly what he's talking about.
Just to get it right. But that's it. Just to get it right because he will get that opportunity throughout his career 100 plus times. He needs to be able to take it.
Yeah, it's going to become muscle
and
memory.
It's a high percentage look for him because if he's on that left channel as a right footer, he's always going to go inside. And the moment he gets there, he said it to me recently, that once he shifts it, he can hear me say what he needs to do and he just executes it.
Yeah.
Now, he hasn't scored for me yet, but he will. Over time.
My question is like, why would you want to stop that if it only betters the sport and it only betters the talent coming out of Ireland in the long run? And also, maybe you could actually get to the World Cup then.
Because I feel like there's always been that conflict between like an individual player style of play and like system. So it's kind of like, you know, we were talking about on the car ride here, kind of like Jack Grealish, for example. Like he was always told, like Jordan was saying, he was always
Dean
told
Smith told him like, go find the pockets when there's threats.
Whereas Guardiola now was telling him like, oh, just hold the byline kind of thing. You know what I mean? So there's always been that.
A good player's got to be a good player. Though.
Yeah,
so like,
players,
like you look at, let's say Steph Curry, probably the best example of someone who's just pure. Everything he does is just pure class. But he does the same thing every single day in training.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff. Same moves. So
10,000 hours.
He has a go-to move to get to a
yeah.
spot. He gets to the spot and he hits the shot. That's it. That's all he does on every single day. Because if you don't do that every day, someone else is going to do it. And they're going to be slightly better than
like
you.
they're just saying like doing this now is getting easier for him because I'm like, yeah, because you're putting in the 10,000 hours. You're
just
doing
do
the
it
exact
every
same
single
thing,
day.
routine. You know exactly what to do. So it's just going to get easier. I've seen you reference the NBA twice now in there. Do you incorporate a lot of like statistics into your training development supplement? Because I know with the NBA, the second analytics, I don't even know what they'd be talking about. But unlike you're trying to innovate
for
now.
some players, yes. So some players are like, for example, with Jordan, he's a huge fan of Haaland. So I would get stats from Haaland. I get graphics from it. The other co-founder, Gary, is great. He's really into analytics and stuff. So he'll send me stuff that he think would be relevant to some of the players we'd work with. So like the percentage of Haaland's strikes this year and his goals, like literally every single one of them is within the penalty spot and the 6-yard box.
6-yard box.
So that's sometimes players need a reaffirmation of that's where you're going to score your goals.
Yeah.
So that's what we work on.
Yeah.
Like we're not going to work on your 40-yard strikes and stuff. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get that look. If it does, instinct will take over. If you're a good enough player, you'll go and stand shit on a lucky day. But if that's where your repetition is, that's where you spend your hours. Like it's not rocket science.
And is this what you guys like? Obviously, do you that's your job now? This is what you guys do, training 2-on-2. So I always wonder because whenever we talk about non-traditional route, like I work in pharma, he works in accounting. So if the non-traditional route in our houses weren't really, let's say, supported as much as we thought it could have. What did your parents make of when you guys said that this is what we want to do, or was it like no, go to school, get a degree, or?
So I all three of us went to college.
Okay.
So when we were kind of first starting it out, I was going through my college. Like I was doing a 3-year degree in marketing, and we were doing it in Maynooth. What year was that? When was I doing it?
For you in college?
Yeah, I don't even know. Anyway, got it, finished it. It was grand. Sure, a year and a half of it was during COVID, so that actually suited me. But like that whole period was just
going to bed.
Yeah, it's really simple. It was actually very, very nice getting up every morning, not having to travel in. Now, although it's not far from my gaff, it's not worth it. Like, so like that was like our building phase. COVID was actually great for us because it gave us time off pitch because we couldn't be on pitch to sort our shit on the back end.
Yeah.
Like let's actually get a structure in place here. What could this be? But like for training 1-to-1 now, from the outside, people probably think it's a full time. Well, to us, it's a full time operation. I'm the only full time staff there. So like during the off-season periods, I'll work with the players during the day, like the pro players. We're all there in the evenings. Myself and Gary are there every single day, but Gary works a full-time job. The other Gary works a full-time job. Finn, who's one of our videographers, he's a student. He's in TY.
Wow.
But he's like unbelievable at what he does. Nilo's a videographer. You could probably class him as full-time as well. Like Nilo does a crazy amount of hours for us as well on pitch. Today, Thursdays, he works 9 to 5 with us in the gaff where we just sit and work all day. But like, it's still to most things part-time. So the question about like parents and stuff, they were very good, to be honest with you. Like when I was going through college, I think maybe once or twice showed that, are you going to get like a job or whatever? There was, because at the time, even before COVID, money was, I mean, like even now, it's we have to reinvest pretty much everything. Well, pretty much everything. We obviously make enough to keep us going, but we're living at home. Our expenses aren't substantial, so everything's going back into the business. If you want to have a sustainable business, definitely now when we're early, like proper early doors, you have to keep investing back into it. So, yeah.
How do you like? Obviously, you have the love for the football, right? But how do you guys deal with the business side? Because I feel like some people when they love something so much, they only focus on the like music artists are the worst for it. They love the music so much that they forget about the business, and then they realize that, oh shit, my business is fucked up, and then it makes them fall out of love with the music. How did you guys sort out the business?
We have a great mix. So I'm obsessed with business. Gary's obsessed with business. So we're lucky enough we love the both. The other Gary's not as in the weeds of business, but from a football perspective, he's the man. So he looks after everything on pitch. Yeah. So all of our back end stuff, we're bringing in new staff. He'll train them all in. He kind of sets the philosophy and the model, and we go by that as a company. And he's excellent at it. So that's what he does. Like he really looks after football things. So that's his real passion. Obviously, from a football perspective, we're extremely passionate about football. But we also, like our dad was a businessman. He ran his own car repair company. So we kind of has that. We kind of have it in our genetics. But we love it every day, waking up and the football side is great. Obviously, that's our bread and butter. But balancing the business side is no problem.
Yeah, and then what's
We're
like
obsessed with it as
the
well.
goal for Training 121? Do you guys see a vision of like this is what it's gonna be? Because like you're talking like again the reference you give about the NBA, I even know of like Phil Ham, he's a personal coach for like LeBron. So what is the vision that you guys have for Training 121 as of like today?
That's a good question, and I think it matches really well with the previous one about the business side. I think where I think we get our edge is because, as Morgan said, Training 121 is an extension of us. But I think even for people that are listening and have ideas about business and all that, there actually is a blueprint to create a business in today's infinite leverage world. There really is. And I can share some things that I really have found beneficial over the last few months and years of kind of building like the goal and the idea, but how to get there and really what's a sustainable business model. And the key word is really scale. And I find it so funny when people think of Training 121. The first question they ask is all about football. Training 121 at the heart is a media company. That's what's really where the leverage comes from.
Yeah.
That's where everything comes from is the media. And I think what people always see is the football, but people didn't see Morgan when he was 8 years of age watching the behind the scenes of King Kong for 5 hours every single day about what video content capture is, different angles and lighting and creation. Sure, Morgan used to like what the film I'm referring to is Peter Jackson's.
Yeah,
King
no,
Kong.
Yeah.
Cracking movie.
Favorite film.
Very tell you like it, yeah.
Oh, big time. You didn't even watch the film. He'd watch the behind the scenes for 3 hours. But I mean, and he was saying that it's in the blood. It really is. If you really want to make money doing something you love, you need to leverage specific knowledge, which is a combination of your innate interests. So, for example, Morgan's innate interest would be football and content creation. My innate interests would be football, obviously, is the big one, and definitely sales would be the second one, and communication skills. And that's even where my full-time job is. These things, you don't go after them. They just find you naturally.
Yeah.
And when you can combine that with some leverage, you've got a scalable model. So what I mean by leverage is there's 4 main points of leverage. The first one is people, so labor. So you can hire people to do things for you. The second one's capital, so actually getting like venture money. So if, say, me and Morgan wants to sell X amount of the business, we get like, I don't know, let's say a couple million, for example, right? So that money,
I'll sell it today.
so that money you can reinvest. But like they're 2 old forms of leverage, and like, the new forms of leverage are where like the new wealth is coming from. So if you're looking at like an Elon Musk, for example, or a Jeff Bezos, like the extreme, like their leverage is coming through code, so software, having a good idea of how to tinker with technology. But where we're getting our leverage from is media, which is where everybody can get it from. So content creation, podcasts, and how you can essentially align that with revenue. And on the business side, that's how we're very well anchored. People, there's a lot of really good football coaches, but there's not a lot of really good football coaches who understand media and who understand culture. So, for example, even the diversity in our group. I mean, like we have like tons of white kids, tons of black kids, tons of Muslims, tons of Jews, everything, and we understand culture. I think at the heart of it, which is definitely something that we've always wanted to create, is an environment that's not just open and everyone gets better, but just this incredible facility where people can get better and then we'll get our cut doing something we love.
Brilliant.
Yeah, like I think in this day and age, people don't really understand how important and how serious marketing is.
Yeah, the content aspect.
You don't have in this day and age, you don't have to be the best. Like you said, there's probably coaches out there that are the best coach ever. Yeah, but nobody knows about you.
But they're not putting it like
they don't understand the media side of it to kind of like put them on that next level when you're incorporating 2 things. Or well, there is some people that maybe understand media well, but don't do coaching well. So you guys are trying to incorporate, and then sorry, Dave.
I was gonna say because I see you guys on like 100K or so followers, and it's kind of like like literally you could stop doing the content thing tomorrow, and you know. Like Morgan's still out there doing 1-2s with the footballers, or whatever, and you're doing everything on the business side on a high level. We're not seeing that, so like it is like when I see you kind of put out content and stuff like that, like I'm drawn to the page, and then I see you advertise the page and the 1-to-1 coach, and I saw like the what was it, the silver,
The
memberships,
and the memberships as well. I wouldn't have seen that if I wasn't already checking the page. So
some of those finishes are lovely though. The one with the and then the one that went in, like, did this go in? I watched that like 3 times. I'm like, did it go in?
I'm literally sitting there watching. I was like, I could never make it as a baller, man. Like, I was gonna ask this because I have to ask. Deji, you're included in this too. You definitely want to be a baller at one stage.
No, actually no.
Oh, did you not? Okay,
No.
right. What
I
stage?
knew from young that I didn't have it.
Me and you both.
See, you are the healthy guys, right? At what stage for the rest of us? At what stage did you realize this isn't gonna cut it
As a player?
as a footballer? Because everybody wants to be a footballer.
Subconsciously, I'd say when I was like 13.
Yeah, you're right. You do like. There is a period you lie to yourselves. There is a period that you know where you're lying to yourself. It's like, I can still do it.
Yeah. You have to be so, like, as a footballer, you have to. It's a shite life being a footballer. Like,
Facts.
now, people see the money, they see all the plot. It's a
I want to try it out. I
very,
want to try out that shite life.
So it's a very difficult life, and that's not at all what I wanted as a now. I didn't know that as a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, this is not what I want. I obviously was training to be a footballer. I dedicated everything to it. But like by the time I was 18, I like coaching. I was burned out. I knew this is not going to be for me. There's a couple of things I maybe could have went in. I was like, no way. Like, but I knew that kind of consciously then when I started to get 15, 16. I was still playing, but I never really enjoyed it massively playing. So I knew it wasn't for me.
No, I'm glad I could kind of sign off with it because I realized I didn't have that Coutinho little snapshot you were talking about. Whatever. You know what I mean? I actually had I remember I was really at that stage at like 13 where I was literally like, no, if I've not made it now, I'm playing C League, I'm seeing man at Man City at like 8 or whatever like that, like I can't make it. I actually got this thing on my knees, I remember, because I remember it was really kind of like a make or break year. I was kind of, it wasn't make or break year. I was like, close. In my head it was, mentally it's a make or break year, yeah. I'm literally just like playing or whatever. And I just can't run, like I literally can't run on my knees or whatever. So I get a few scans or whatever. I had this thing called fucking Osgood
Sliders, yeah, I have it as well. And so did you, yeah.
Oh, no way.
Very common.
Very common. This
Very
is
common,
madness. Bro, it put me out for like 9 months.
It's extremely soft.
That was it.
I still have lumps on my patella tendon from it. Yeah.
Do you have it as well? Yeah, I have.
Do you ever hit it? Do you ever hit your knee?
Yes.
Not good. Not
No,
good.
do you ever try get up off the couches?
Not good. Not good.
Thank you for that. If you piss me off, I'm going straight for the
Straight for the knee.
So why did you? You want to say something?
Yeah, what's called? Okay, so obviously you can see if a kid is gonna like has it or not. If a kid doesn't have it, like, can you be like, he's not making it?
But see, when you come into training with the one, you're not there to be a pro footballer. That's not what you're there for. You're going to pick up, obviously, you're there to be coached as a footballer. You're going to pick up some bits of information as a player. You're going to get extra hours. You're going to get your fundamentals absolutely spot on. But the environment is just the teacher.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is
You're
there.
just supplementing.
Great spirits. Everyone's positive. Like, you see, we try to set a culture, and it's something so simple. But it's good to embed in younger people, because younger people are very kind of shy and stuff. They don't want to interact. But if a new kid comes into the Astro for the first time, like, we expect those who have been in, we call the trenches, so those who've been with us for a long time, even a month or two, to go over and say hello, introduce themselves, make sure they feel welcome. But then also when you're in sessions, definitely when the standards may be a little bit higher, to like compete. You're there to try win and be competitive, but in an environment where I can hit someone in a tackle and they won't get pissed off. They'll be like, right, I'm going to hit him back in a good way, in a positive way. Like, he's trying to make me better. She's trying to make me better. I'm going to do the exact same thing. So it's that environment.
I think Gary said a word for, what was it? Positive
or healthy disrespect.
Yeah. That's the one.
I might tell why did you guys decide then, let's start a podcast?
Ooh, we did it years ago, didn't we?
2020, yeah.
2020. We like in our garage, in our gaff, it's like split, so it's an actual garage, and then it's like just was this open area. So we, with one of my best mates, Tal, we painted the back wall like into a football pitch, and then done like this cool black and orange like thing, had our logo and all on it, but the sound and all wasn't great, and so it was just me, G, and Daly, the other Gary. And we just bought like one singular mic on the table. And we were just
every podcast starts the same way. You find a mic, you just get the audio out, and you're like, okay.
But you got to start.
Yeah, literally.
So when we were doing that, that was before COVID and all. Like, this was a long time ago. We didn't know what we were doing. We had very little time as well, so it was very rushed. And we started, which is the most important thing. And then me and Gary were talking for weeks and months, like, probably should bring the podcast back. Like, we were getting bigger and bigger. Like, in summer of last year, like, I think we had 13,000 followers on Instagram. And we're like, geez, we're starting to grow, like, again, because Instagram was a very slow burner for us. But then kind of the way Instagram changed, it really suited us. And then it hit. And then when it hit for us, we're like, okay, it's like overnight. We're like, right, now is the time.
Yeah.
Because we went from 13,000 to like 160,000 within 4 months. So like, it was crazy. Like that started, like, right, now we go.
You have the audience now to back this.
There's no excuses now. We just need to figure out a way to make it work. So we come here, obviously this exact studio.
Shout out Vision Lab.
Shout out Vision Lab. This place is a joke. Every second Tuesday straight from sessions. So if we finish sessions at 9 p.m. in Selbridge, and then we drive to here, and then we start at 10, and we'll get out of here about 12:30.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
Fair. And how's that going on the podcast side? Do you guys enjoy that side, or is it just like a necessary thing to do?
No, we love it, but to in our opinion, it has much more improvement needed.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna ask you that. Did you just have them first few podcasts where like it's just not like
the flow is great. It's just
the conversation all is good. Everyone feels comfortable on it. A couple of things on the back end we need to sort. It's not nowhere near as clean, as engaging as we'd like.
Yeah.
But we need to get other stuff sorted first. But then that will be a high priority, because, like Gary said, we're a content machine. If every touch point isn't good, then we need to sort our shit out. So that's one where we really need to get it fine tuned. So like today, when Niall was in, we were doing meetings on our current YouTube videos, like our training videos, and we're basing videos off Mr. Beast now, not the way he does it, but the real attention to detail to every cut, every frame change, every effect, every text, making sure it's absolutely perfect. Well, no video is ever going to be perfect, but trying to get it as engaging as possible, because like the way any content is nowadays, you're competing against someone looking on their phone. I could be watching a YouTube video, and I get a notification on Snapchat. I click into it. Gone. If the video's not good enough, they're going to disappear.
We've made rules with TikToks, like we can't have unless they're super interesting. They can't even be no more than a minute.
No, no way.
If I'm on Twitter and I see like a song is dropped but it doesn't have a video, I don't watch it. I can't stare at the screen because I need to do something. It's crazy. It's absolutely
and the engagement and retention is getting shorter and shorter.
I even know it's
milliseconds.
I even know it's myself. I just cancel.
So you're fighting against Netflix. You're fighting against Disney Plus. You're fighting against your phone. You're fighting against another YouTube video. You've got to get it.
No, it's true. Like I was watching one of my favorite podcasts today, mind you. Half an hour in, I'm like, I need to watch something else. Like, and I love this podcast. I listen to every Flagrant every week. It's on the background there, and I'm like half an hour in, and it's not like I wasn't enjoying it. I was like, this is a good comedic thing. After then, I see the Jesse Lingard on Diary of a CEO. I was like, maybe we should put that on. Like my mind's too much content right now.
I'm in the middle of the Fash one, then I see Jesse Lingard. Well, I need to hit that up.
Yeah.
I was going to ask as well, because this was literally just kind of inspired off one of the clips. It's probably like on your title. It's probably like one of the first clips about you talking about kind of growth, like whether it's linear or whether it's kind of like. Do you believe in the concept of wonder kid in football?
Yes.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
You look at Evan Ferguson.
Yeah,
he's a good example. We spoke about him earlier. Evan Ferguson was the best player in the country for years, every single year.
Every single year.
Undisputed. Yeah. I would say. Obviously, there's good.
We have a theory of what we've seen over the last 12 years about who makes it. So who's going to be a professional footballer?
Talk to me.
Yeah.
No, not for me. Not for me. Project Mbappe. When I get home, I'm like, madam, let's go right
now. Definitely. Now, these are like the two, I'm going to say, more consistent ones, right? There's loads of moving plates. Parents, upbringing, all that shit, right? But there's definitely two. One of them are the extremely outlying gifted players. So two would be good examples. Evan Ferguson's definitely one of them. Another kid that we had who I had at the DDSL was a guy called Kevin Zeffi, plays for Inter Milan now. Who's Algerian Irish.
I've heard of him.
Those two they were the best players in their age group in Ireland since they were I'm going to say 9 years of age, right? Mm-hmm. They're even that good, they'd probably be in the top 50 in Europe at their age group. Now, they're just like outliers of talent, right? And then there's the other flip of the coin, which is the players who are nowhere near as gifted, but upstairs, as we were talking about earlier, about what you can't quantify in dollars in the transfer market, they have an abundance. So, extremely good leadership characteristics. Really good like absorption of stress. People that can, get dropped 6 times and still want to get back on the bus again. I mean,
mental
these
health,
things, you just
under the
can't.
brightest lights, they can just you can't quantify that. Yeah.
Really good under pressure, have really good self-awareness. Likability is a big one. A big one.
Yeah.
A lot of players. Morgan Group with Mark Travers, one of the goalkeepers with Bournemouth.
Oh, because he was from Maynooth, isn't it? Yeah, because one of the girls I used to work with, she's from Maynooth as well. She told me that.
Yeah, he's from Maynooth. Yeah, and like Mark's such a likable guy. Like he's going to get opportunities. Like he was rejected from XYZ clubs, but still got opportunities because of how nice of a guy he is. And these little things you just can't write off, you know? So, and there's another example. We've a player who trains with us regularly the last 2 years. His name is Killian Phillips, who is with Crystal Palace now. So
yes, Mom was always sharing him on his page.
Patrick Vieira is a huge fan of him. Absolutely loves him. But he wasn't in any of the fancy squads up until he hit about 17 years of age. 6'3", I think he is. Was extremely... well able to compete in a senior dressing room at a young age, at 17. Had a bit of bollocks about him. Very, very much able to communicate to senior players and to hold himself accountable. That sort of personality and innate personality that you just can't teach or train.
Got that dog in him, man.
Yeah, combining
that dog in him.
Combining that with really good physical capabilities, with a little bit of fine tuning, with some good training and coaching.
This is a lot, man.
No, it is.
It's like a perfect cocktail. You just need a little bit of everything. Yeah.
To simplify it, extremely gifted.
Yeah.
Is A.
Yeah.
B is simple. Extremely gifted psychologically and socially, but not as talented.
Obviously, you have to have a bit about you as well, but
I get it, because you can even look at it. Obviously, we're talking about the Premier League a lot. You can see in some there's those characteristics, like say for example Jordan Henderson, who maybe is not the most gifted, like technically, but he has those characteristics that he is a likable guy. He's a captain. He has leadership qualities. He has mental fortitude. Sunderland didn't want him, and he went on to captain Liverpool to the flipping Champions League. So you do see the both sides of it.
I was going to ask you, just to touch on your point, Gary, what would you rather in your team? The technically gifted guy, say if they only had them bare characteristics, the technically gifted guy or the mental fortitude guy?
Neither.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, neither. Sorry, it's a bit of a curveball with that one. Neither. No. I don't like purely technical footballers. I don't like purely dogs either. I think they're both relatively useless, in my opinion.
Interesting.
That's a good point. Well,
interesting.
Well, I guess that's us for today.
Yeah,
Thank you guys for coming.
We have our segments.
Oh, charge it.
Yeah. Okay, so charge it. Basically, we have our own segment. Charge it. We're called Charge It the Game. Where basically, essentially, you have to charge something to the game. So to put it in perfect words, it's kind of something shit that happened during the week, but it is what it is, kind of thing. So. We basically say you can charge it, like charge it to the game. Like,
charge to the game just means it is what it is.
It is what it is, essentially. So we ask each guest every week what's their charge to the game, like something shit that's happened to them during the week.
You guys can start and just give an example.
Kind of thing.
Grand. So my one this week, so I spent since the start of the week, I've been anxious about a meeting, So they pushed it to Tuesday. Push it to Wednesday. And today, 4:00, they were like, all right, it's going to be on the 4. I'm anxious because I'm presenting this to like the director of the department. So I'm thinking about it. I'm reading my lines. I'm prepping. I log on. She doesn't even show up.
Bro.
So she doesn't even come. I spent the whole week.
Set the meetings at 4. Yeah.
That was the first part. I'm like, why are you setting this meeting at 4? So I just have to wait the whole day in anxiety, thinking like, okay, I'm gonna say it this way. So if she asks me a question, I can direct her that way. You know, you like mentally prepping myself. I log on to the meeting at 4:00 because I knew I was coming here with the boys. I'm like, all right, I'll do this meeting, get food, and get down to record. And I'm sitting there for like 10 minutes. She doesn't show up. And you know what? They cancel it till tomorrow. So that anxiety continues now till tomorrow.
It carries over. Yeah.
Charge it though. You gotta charge that to the game.
Bro, my charge to the game, first of all, my charge to the game alone is that I'm still with Ulster Bank.
And they're not closing down. I thought they were done.
I'm still with Ulster Bank. Why? I'm way too loyal, like, do you know what I mean? So no, but needless to say, I switched over banks like a month ago, right? But I just got lazy. I remember I switched over to AIB, and I fucking procrastinated on this, right? I set up and I was trying to close the bank, and they're like, you had to pay. I must have got a chocolate bar at the shop 2 days before. They're like, you have a pending payment. It's like, oh, what's this pending payment? Fucking Starbar or something from like 2 days ago. So literally, like, I'm trying to. So I left it. Even left it to the Christmas. They tell me, yeah, your account's up for closure in early January. So I didn't even think about it. I just went straight. I already have my account. Call up the bank, do whatever, do the switch over. I had a howler. Didn't move any money to my Revolut. Nothing. So I rang them rang them there like the other week. Literally just like, oh yeah, like I want to do my switch over, confirm my closure, all that sort of thing. They're like, oh yeah, grand. Did it, finished it up. They're like, I was like, so how do I get money now? Like, can't. Like, do you know what I mean? So I'm literally sitting there like, all right, so can I move money to my Rev? I'm not gonna lie, I only have to pay for flights. I had nothing in my current at this stage. You know what I mean? So literally just like, you can pay in your current or whatever. I was like, all right, can I move from my savings to my current? They said that no movement, can't do anything. I'm literally just sitting there, like nothing in my. I had no preparation. I just thought, just close it. you see what I mean? Now, charge the game.
Yeah, they enjoy you charge the game.
Nice. You smell like brokey, bro.
You smell like bro. Don't touch him.
You know, this man's rich, man. You
Don't worry, I got you. That's why I'm not. People. That's like a counter thing. Oh, he's good at house. He's rich. No, I'm not rich because I have a house. That's why the money's gone.
Now, for me, you know what? For me, it's gonna be boring. I've just been busy as fuck, bro. I've had no time for enjoyment, bro. It's literally work for work. Then I got like exams and shit that I'm preparing for. Then I've got editing this and getting ready for this. Like, genuinely, fuck January. January is, it's not. You have that month in January where you just broke, you're making a stretch until you get to, because Christmas. Next year I'm not participating. I'm not taking part in Christmas. I'm not doing it. I'm just going to travel for Christmas. For every year it becomes less.
He has Christmas agenda, and I never get. My birthday's actually on Christmas Day. So I've never. So I've always loved Christmas.
Who's your man?
Huh?
Who's your man?
Yeah, he said the ego.
The ego. Who's this guy?
He said the ego.
Fuck that. Like, all this pressure to just have a perfect Christmas actually brings me down. I'm like my Christmas was a bit shit.
It was unChristmassy Christmas ever, and I loved it.
Why are you man's charging to the game?
Ooh, I'm gonna stick in the bank. Yeah. So I hate AIB, right?
I can feel him getting antsy.
When you said bank, I was like, that's the one I'm gonna go.
Man. So they talk louder on the phone. You know what I mean?
See, I'm not even picking up the phone.
Yeah,
I can't anymore.
Yeah.
So, first of all, before I even get into the story for this week, Joe, when you go into the online banking, right? You search up AIB, you go to log in. My interface is like from the 1990s, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just doesn't function.
Yeah.
It doesn't function.
Which
it doesn't
bank
work.
is this?
It's so outdated. And I went into them like, my interface when I log in is like there's no way it functions. They're like, oh. What do you mean?
You have to remember,
I can't do anything.
On the other side is someone that's just waiting for 4 o'clock. They don't give a fuck. On the other side, they're like, oh well.
No. You know what happened to me? I start bombarding my guy with questions. Poor Aaron, shout out. I was bombarding my guy with questions. Like, so can I move from my savings? Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I think you can. And I was like, what about my Revolut? And he just goes, is there any more questions? I just asked you a question. I was like, can I do that? So I caught him out. I'm like, you're just winging
But when you go to ring them, from 11:30 to 2 is lunch.
Yeah, man.
They just don't work.
Honestly.
Painful. Anyway, what was the issue this week? I went with G-Man. I need to open a savings account. He's like, no problem. You'll do it 2 minutes on your phone. So I went into the AIB app. Going to start a savings account. Click into it and goes, can't do this right now. You're going to have to ring us. I was like, I'm not ringing. I'm just not going to say money. I don't care.
Why do you have to ring them if you're right there?
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm here right now. Why do you have to ring someone?
So that's it. That's it. I'm never opening a savings account. So I'm charging that to the game.
Charge it to the game. What about you, Gary?
I'm going to stick on a combination of all three with another business meeting problem and finance problem. So I'm dealing with a customer, an enterprise customer, trying to sign a 2-year contract. And essentially, I'm dealing with a department that's called procurement, which might as well be called bust your balls, is procurement. Their whole job is to reduce the cost in software. So this is a very well-established company. I'm not going to name them, obviously, for reasons like that. But they had I had to deal with the first point of contact was the procurement officer in London. So we started the proposals from there. Grand. No worries. They didn't understand anything that we offered in terms of software. So you had to explain to the person what we do, the outcomes that we were driving, the return on investment that the client was getting. It's like, oh, okay, grand, no problem. And then they start pushing back naturally on figures. Then I got a random email saying, okay, I've been replaced. This person's going to take the reins now. I was like, fine. Same question. What do you guys do? Where's your commercial relationship with the client? So I had to hop on another Zoom, explain again. What do we do? The return on investment that we drive, the outcomes that they get. Great. Go through the figures. So we're going back and forth. We agreed the figures to move forward with the proposal. Fantastic. Really good. I was like, fucking finally. Yeah. 2 days later, get another email. No, I'm not your point of contact anymore. This person's your point of contact. What?
Oh, charge! You gotta charge after the game. Sorry, bro.
I felt like smashing the Mac, shave my head, and go into Tibet. Honestly, I was ready.
Each time it looked like the deal was done, it's just like, oh, no, you have to report to the next guy.
So we agreed the figures, same as. Hopped on a call yesterday. Yesterday. It was yesterday. The person explained to me that the figures were incorrect. They didn't agree with them, and that we gave them between 2019 and 2022, 52% of a price increase, 42% of a price increase, 19% of a price increase. We never give them a price increase ever. She sent me an Excel sheet with the breakdown of where she was getting these figures from. I was like, this is just bollocks. This is not true. She took the wrong units from a previous contract and still asked the question, what do you guys sell?
Oh my God. A lot of people are just winging it.
I couldn't believe it. I said, come here, you are multi-billion-dollar company in revenue. How do you not get these details right?
Bro, yeah, a lot of people are winging it.
I work like in a multi-billion-dollar company. It happens.
Yeah. No, it's vibes.
It happens. It's like everybody's just like
somewhere.
The older I get, and the more that I know people that are doing things. Like, I have a friend that's a teacher, and I look like, you're teaching kids?
I've had that conversation 100 times.
Yeah, I've got friends that are doctors. I'm like,
yeah,
you passed out the other day.
I was on the podcast, Shits and Gigs. He said, oh yeah, I went into the doctor's one. I saw them Googling it. You know what I mean? Like literally, you know.
You guys were saying that, like, although you coach like football, obviously, you don't really like watch it on the weekly basis, or like as much as people would think you do.
No time. Like I was saying there, we just don't have the time to do so. Like I was saying, we train Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday evening, and then we're on the pitch Sunday afternoon. So we're on the pitch from like 1 p.m. Sunday. So all that weekend game is gone. The only times I would watch, which has been nice now as a United fan, is that we're on pretty much every Saturday. I've been watching every Saturday, which is nice. But other than that, like, I don't really care what's going on. Obviously, I want United to do well. I hope we do well. We'll be in touch with the League of Ireland an awful lot now once it comes back. In February, and the League of Ireland Women's, because we have a lot of players that play in the league. So.
Yeah.
That seems really interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing with me with Man United now on Saturdays, because that used to ruin my Saturdays. Now it's just
it's positive.
I did not take my United jersey off for the weekend. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to confess it. It did not go off after the derby.
Bro,
result though.
This guy watched the highlights.
I watched the highlights on Sky Sports 4 times, and I watched Match of the Day, smiling at Ian Wright tears, absolutely smiling.
It was a top game.
Yeah.
So interesting.
No, and like, I don't know if you lot watch, because I wouldn't consider myself like a tactical purist or anything like that, but just kind of on the eye, it was literally like I could see us setting up zonally, like blocking passing lanes kind of thing. Like, I remember Ten Hag saying like, oh, the key man today is going to be Rodri. So I remember Eriksen, because Eriksen's the next player that's not as mobile on the pitch, so it's kind of like putting on Rodri, because Rodri scans the pitch and stuff like that. And we're going to get into that, like the way you, like, just little stuff you do on the pitch. Like, he'll scan the pitch a couple of times, but he's not as mobile. So it's a bit like Eriksen's not as mobile, so he just kept on him. We just blocked off the passing lanes. Like, Fred stayed on Kevin De Bruyne. It just worked.
Done a great job on it.
It just worked, yeah.
They were organised. The one thing that United have now compared to, like you're saying, getting depressed every weekend, watching them, they're just dogged. Tough to play against. They're very well organised. Everyone was giving out about United for years, going, where's the old like Flair, United, fast wingers and so on.
Yeah.
Like, you have to evolve. But we've kind of gone back to the roots of, like when Fergie was playing, we play at Blackburn, for example, you're going to pop them around. But everyone else, we'd sit back, counter-attack and be really good at it.
That's just United heritage. Like, people want to give out that we play counter-attacking football. It's like, that's exactly what we do. Like,
and we're very good at it.
Yeah, we absorb the attack, and then literally just we move the ball from back to front. Like even what I noticed is we move the ball now from back to front within 10 seconds nearly. So that's
some of the transitions through Bruno in the City game were unbelievable. Just
key.
1 or 2 passes, hit Rashford,
key.
Get Martial out of the team though.
Nah, listen, man they need to start putting respect on Bruno. Like we're talking about that off camera, like they need to seriously start putting respect on Bruno.
No, because like obviously I was talking to my mate about this, and we're talking about that how even me watching United and seeing like they look more of a team now. And my take was when Casemiro signed, it was like, he's a 30-year-old, we're paying so much money, he's past the hill. But do we sometimes overlook that a player can just bring more than the actual technical side of the brilliance on the pitch? Because what you hear now is like he's a winner, he's a mental winner, he brings a bit of passion. And in the market, you can't really quantify that. We can look at a player and be like, he plays nice, he beats players. But what you can't quantify is like when you plug him in the middle of the pitch, what effect it has overall in the dressing room. Because as a Chelsea fan, people used to give out about David Luiz all the time where he couldn't play. I went to watch him play as Pats in the summer, and on the pitch, he's the only one talking. He's telling everybody where to be, and I'm like, see, watching it on Sky, you're not noticing that. You'll just see the odd mistakes here or there.
Yeah.
But what he does for the dressing room, and by Chelsea now, it's like there's no leadership. I would kill for David Luiz or.
He's Chelsea, by the way.
Yeah, people would kill Rudiger, but I liked Rudiger because he brought that bit of like character in there. So. You guys, from a coaching perspective, is there just like something intangibles about the players you just can't quantify?
You were more watching team coaching, so you know a better answer.
I think I always found it funny with Casemiro. People used to write him off because he was old. 30 is not old in football, especially for a deeper number 6. I mean, Casemiro would barely get past Eriksen playing for Man United, so he's only doing half the distance, and that compounds hugely over the years. Mm-hmm. And I do agree. I think winners and dogged mentality players or whatever.
Exactly.
You are right in the sense that you can't quantify it, but I think anybody kind of can feel a winner. They can feel like a soul or a spirit or something that's going to bring that to a team. Yeah. I think the biggest difference with Manchester United is, and it's the same with all teams, is 2 key factors. You need to have a ridiculously strong spine, and as a unit and as a team, you need to be extremely hard to beat. I think all the best teams in the world are hard to beat, number 1. So if you're going to go play Man City in the Etihad, you're thinking how many goals can I stop before you're even thinking about getting one in there.
Yeah.
And that's, in my opinion, the real testament. Like Manchester United now have a world-class goalkeeper, a world-class number 6, in my opinion, a world-class 10 with Bruno.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call
Martinez.
Martinez and Martinez and even Varane as well. 2 of them are world-class. And then we have got, in my opinion, a world-class front pair in Rashford. Now, I'm the same opinion as Morgan. I don't think Martial's anywhere near it for Manchester United. But I think my biggest problem with United in the future is if, for example, Rashford, I don't know, dips in a little bit of form, I can't see anybody else picking up 15 or 20 goals. Mm-hmm. And typically to win the Premier League, you need at least 75. And that's at least.
Wow.
Yeah, so if
Rashford, that's on average, is it?
Yeah, 75 goals. So that's scored. So if you're looking at Rashford's going to make, I don't know, maybe 20. Yeah. You know, where the hell are the other goals going to come from?
Yeah.
Bruno.
Probably across the team.
Yeah. Bruno does contribute, but outside of that, like Garnacho's tops, he's not going to get you plus 5 goals this year. Martial, he's a waste of space for me. And
you don't rate Martial. Hold on, bring it back. No, talk to me about Martial.
Watch out.
Chat to me about Martial. Right. No, because I have a mate who's going to love this Martial slander, but I want to hear it because
So when Martial first came to United, I was on the exact bandwagon that everyone else should have been on because he was quality when he first came. He scored a goal against Liverpool, looked lively off the left. He was really effective. Now I'm judging him as a centre forward now, because that's where he's playing, and I think he's the most ineffective centre forward in the Premier League. He's just lazy. Which, if you are going to be lazy and not cover ground, you've got to be scoring 20 goals a year, and he's just not going to do that.
Yeah,
I just can't see it happening. I know everyone's going to say, but what about lockdown Martial? Lockdown Martial put 2 passes. It was like 9-0 beats Southampton 2 down. Like, come on, like he was just riding a wave. Then it just doesn't do it for me. Every time he comes in defeat, it just bounces off him, and if he does stick it, he wants contact and he goes down. But he's not good at drawing fouls, and he's just hard to watch.
I was thinking that as well because like where I think where I think Martial's operated best and where he's kind of shone is probably kind of outside the kind of 18-yard area. Like I remember a lot of them. We call him NHS Martial. That was what it was. He was cooking for about 2 months. Like, but like a lot of it, even the goals against Bournemouth. Now Sheffield United, I remember in particular, like Sheffield United, it's just interlink with like Rashford and just go for that like his trademark, like the Martial finesse, like outside the box kind of thing. In terms of in the box, he's not proactive enough for me. Like he's not really attacking the half spaces. Like he kind of gets build up play from wherever, from deep. You get the build play, and it's like you kind of just see him labour around there. Do you know what I mean?
His body language is terrible. He's so easy to hate.
Yeah.
I generally don't hate players like
that.
Though. I find it hard to dislike players like that, but I really just don't like him as a player.
You'd be amazed. That's a fan base though.
But that's everyone does.
But but you know what I mean. Like that's what keeps. I think that's what keeps a lot of players popular. It's kind of this like. For me, we're seeing Sancho get more popular because he's not in the team.
Yeah,
and it's a case.
As an example, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like we're seeing him get more popular because he's not in the team. It's kind of like this. It's like this lore of a player when you haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah.
It's like revisionism kind of goes. Oh yeah, but he was sick against Liverpool. And he said we don't remember them games where he was playing Leeds United or whatever. Or he's playing whoever, and he just couldn't beat him. Man, do you know what I mean? It's kind of just like.
Yeah, football fans romanticize about players who are having a dip in form, which sometimes is a good thing. It kind of gets people out of a spell. But you look at like Timo Werner, for example, like the poor fella, God bless him. He was good. Like I actually think he's a good player, but he was just having a tough time. But like once you get into that spiral and you start becoming a meme, Nunes is becoming a meme now. Nunes is a good player. I hate
chaos, man. He has chaos.
Yeah,
chaos man.
He's a crazy man. He's a crazy man. But, like he's fallen into that spiral now as well, which is interesting because now he's becoming a meme. But if he finds in a couple of goals again, everyone's like so happy to see his revival. And He had a bad couple of months. It's all right.
I actually want to ask you now because you said you coach his team, don't you? So, obviously, if you watch Haaland. Haaland was banging in goals at the start, and right now I'm watching City, and I'm like, on the eyes, I'm like, they just don't look the same.
They don't have the dynamism.
They don't have that dynamic attack they had where people were changing positions, where Sterling was out on the right and Jesus was on the left. Because the example I gave is like when I was watching Chelsea's Tuchel, they had Werner, Havertz, and Mount. Now they weren't the best three players, but they're creating a lot because they pick up little pockets of spaces and it's harder to mark them. So my take is like Haaland is good, but I think it's easier to defend Man City because he's more stationary, mobile. He's like you know where he is more than you would like if Sterling's on the left, Sterling's on the right. Because I watch them, I feel like they lack that extra dynamism that they had. Because I thought when Chelsea signed Lukaku, I was like, we're making so many chances, just plug in someone that scores, he'll get the goals. Not realizing that actually changes the dynamic of the flow of the whole attack. So when he's just stationary, it's easier for Virgil van Dijk to know where he is and to get a hold of him. Whereas maybe it's Werner, who's not as good, but he's on the right, he's on the left, he's running through the middle, so it's harder to pick up. So I wanted to kind of see your take on like how do you think, if you've watched enough, how Haaland has changed Man City, if at all?
I think he's only made City better. I think he's only going to make City better. I think Haaland is, or could be arguably the best centre forward ever in 10 years.
Ever the greatest of prime, do you think?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody as dynamic at 6'4". I mean, he's scary.
Yeah.
I was watching him against we love Haaland obviously, but I was watching him against Manchester United. He has what all good players have, and it's absolute box and a really what we call a healthy disrespect towards everybody, towards Pep, towards opposition managers and players. Even that fella, he had a fight Godfrey against Everton.
Yeah, he's giving Ben Godfrey hell.
I mean, the guy's an animal. He was dropping in the 6, past Rodri to get the ball, to get a couple touches on the ball, to make straight line runs directly at Varane and Shaw. And I was thinking, this fucker. I mean, he's going straight for the jugular.
Yeah.
He only needs half a sniff. All of his goals, bar one for Dortmund, were scored inside the box.
Wow, okay.
And the one that was scored outside the box was a deflection, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I think when a player like that attracts so much attention to the box, when you've got 1v1 players like Mahrez, and Phil Foden's been a little bit off form, probably where they're lacking a little bit at times. But I think he's only made City better.
Okay. You've kind of went on my point. Yeah, that's what I think. Like I think the problem is kind of with Man City at the moment is a lot of guys are playing supporting cast to Haaland, and it's like he draws in so many defenders. Like I've seen games where Foden's just decided to attack the kind of half space that has it essentially become available because Haaland's drag players out. Them sort of games, Man City are unplayable. Like they might drop about 7 or 8 on you in them sort of games, but we're just not really seeing that enough. It's like the priority is just supplying Haaland sometimes.
Yeah, they're struggling the last couple of weeks, but like even if you look against United, there's moments like Drew was saying where he makes these runs out just nowhere, just dead straight. He'll come in, he'll draw 1 or 2 plays, and it just takes off. And if you find him, he's going to score. Yeah. So the thing is, sometimes they won't play it, especially against United, where we made it quite hostile in the first 20. And that's very difficult to then, because if you keep turning the ball over, looking for them longer balls, which you're probably on, but if you keep looking for them longer balls and you turn the ball over, you're playing in Old Trafford, everyone's going to get up, and you'd be surprised how much that would influence a game. Especially like little things. Wan-Bissaka was nicking Cancelo early, Fred was nicking De Bruyne. You're getting those little, and then all of a sudden, every time you go into a tackle, you think, I can win the ball here, or at least affect it. And that's why all of a sudden Cancelo, a couple of times, he made lovely runs inside. Haaland will make a run and he just take 2 extra touches, maybe draw a foul, do well. But they're just not hitting them as early, because games like United they're big, they're huge games, and United were better on the day. So
do you think the way United played?
We're good.
Oh, good. Yeah, perfect. Sorry, we do not talk football that often on this podcast, so we're absolutely dying to have a football chat. Yeah, do you think that sort of United style of play that was like sustainable? Because like United style of play, I've noticed recently, maybe in the past, maybe since the return of the year post World Cup, a lot of it's been kind of smother up the pitch. Like, do you know what I mean? Like be like for example, like Martinez, be on the front foot of a striker. Don't even give them the half space. Do you find that sustainable? Because like even watching, I don't know if you watched Crystal Palace last night. It's kind of when we start giving them the half space or even giving them the 2 yards, the game opened up, and we actually look like we're just surviving, to be honest, for the last 25 minutes. Like,
yeah, we didn't see the game, did we? We were out on the pitch, but I seen the free kick. Mother of God!
Jesus what was that?
Didn't even celebrate either.
To your point, I think the Premier League, in terms of standard, the cliche, there's no easy games, we're always slagging it, but I mean, Jesus,
it's so competitive this
half
year.
the players in Crystal Palace could definitely be competing in and around the top 6, in and around squads. I'm not talking starting, but definitely in and around squads.
I'll die on that hill.
Really?
I'll die on that hill.
Don't know about that now.
That's a flagrant football opinion. I'm just
that's wild. That's wild.
But flagrant. But I think if you give any sort of respect to any player, irregardless if they're playing top flight football in the Premier League or La Liga, even in the World Cup, for example, you can see boys that wouldn't be starting for Manchester United or City, but a quality player is a quality player. They only need half a yard. What makes a really good player is something they can do for 10 years. But everybody has quality if they're playing the Premier League. So if you give somebody half a yard on a good day, they're going to punish you. So I would always be of the opinion that defenders, especially, it's a dichotomy. They have to be aggressive, but they can't be overly aggressive. But I personally like defenders that play on the front foot, like a Martinez, for example. I always thought Manchester United were very passive in terms of how they defended. Like, contrary to what most Manchester United fans are, I'm actually a huge fan of Harry Maguire. I don't think what we are trying to do for Manchester United is good for him, and he gets caught and found out. I've had that with some kids that I've had in teams. You really need to have a system that is going to suit, and you're not going to suit every system, unfortunately. Some players can.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is there players that are like so good that maybe Messi and Neymar, they're outliers that you're just going to be like, they can suit any system, but for the most part, is it players actually fit into systems, or is it like players that can just be like, you can throw them into a system and they'll be fine?
I'd be of the opinion that, like everything in life, there is outliers. Like, I think it's so funny how the likes of Elon Musk can take a CEO job at SpaceX, Tesla, and Twitter. All 3 different business models, companies, and structures, and will still bring them to success. It's the exact same with top footballers. You can put Van Dijk in any team. You could put Messi in any team, and they're just outliers. And even to recycle back to the Haaland conversation, if I had Haaland in my team, I would build a system around him, and that's what good players attract, I find sometimes. And I mean, it takes a lot for other players in the dressing room to kind of say, shit, I mean, like, we're going to have to feed this fella. He's going to win us the league. The same with Ronaldo at Madrid, at United as well in his later days. Hazard at Chelsea, one of my favourite players ever, I'm going to say. Is Hazard.
They said it was lazy. Mourinho would say it's lazy, but at the same time, you kind of, like you're saying, he is the outlier. Like, you make the exception that like he's an outlier. We're just going to have to make an exception and maybe put up. He might come back preseason a bit fatter than he should be. Then he should be. But you know, when we get to like October and he gets his fitness again, you're going to be all right for the season. I
was going to ask you guys actually, what, because I was on the topic of what football hill would you die on? Like, because I know you are kind of like experts in your area, but what's just an absolute, like, it can be rational, irrational, like, what sort of hill would you do? Like, what opinion do you have that you're like, I'm gonna die on that hill, football wise?
I don't think I have many dicey opinions.
Yeah.
No, that's my opinion. So that's probably not a good thing. Yeah. But I don't think I said that. Get Kinger on this. He's outlandish, this fella.
Yeah. No, just something mad. Like, I think
I'm trying to think. Anything really out of the ordinary. Okay. Do you have any idea? I mean, I don't remember saying like. You said one last week. He said United are going to win the league. Well,
do you know what?
That's out there.
I have a mate.
Title charges, eh?
Yeah.
All right.
No, not for me. One game at a time.
Brick for brick.
We don't have that squad yet.
But what do you think that? Yeah, what do you think that?
Manchester United
To win the league this year.
Well,
this
on
season.
a football rational basis.
Yeah.
Who is going to stop us? I said in the podcast, you got Manchester City and you've got Arsenal.
Yeah.
I said, what I said in the podcast last week, you beat Manchester City, you could beat anybody.
Yeah, facts.
In my opinion, Arsenal, from what I can see, and I've seen this a few times with teams, they are quite, they look naive in how they go about business. And I mean, like Arteta, no, come here. I think the job Arteta's done is unbelievable. And the football they play and some of the systems that they do is ridiculous. But it seems to be a little bit too out of control at sometimes. I feel like you could get at Arsenal much easier than you could get at Liverpool or Man City. And I don't know, it's only halfway through the season, but I think from what Manchester United have as a spine and what I've seen as consistent that wins leagues, I'm talking about kids that are 8 years of age to professionals, is a strong spine, a match winner, which we have at the minute.
Rashford,
yeah. And we are hard to beat.
I fully hear what you're saying as well.
On a football rational basis, it's hard to agree based on what we've seen this season. But also, to what you guys were saying earlier, can Rashford keep it up? Because where are their goals coming from if Rashford slows down? Whereas City, to the point earlier, I think like if Haaland slows down, you guys said Mahrez, he'll have that space. So there's more places where they can get goals. Sometimes just seeing where it comes from one goal, because you're speaking about Hazard, but the 2 times he won the league, Costa was scoring 20 goals. You need that Robin to come with you.
You need a few around. You need a few around. Now, Rashford could work right away until the end of the season, and we'll see where we end up. And obviously, other players need to contribute. But City have that depth. Arsenal don't know if they have that depth long term.
My thing is with Arsenal, right? They're not really agile tactically. So it's like if they don't have total control of the game and smother a team, we're gonna see them revert back to that Arsenal that we know.
Amen.
So it's
Look, I grew up. United were winning the leagues all the time when I grew up. That's fine. Arsenal haven't won it in 20 years, and they're having a half a good season, and they're not leaving me alone about it. They're talking too much shit. So I can live with United winning the league. I grew up seeing it, but with Arsenal, it's just like, oh god.
Lads, like this ain't no football podcast.
But yeah, like literally. Yeah, like fully, like that's what I'm saying. We see them revert back to that Arsenal because we've seen against Newcastle. We've seen them go like, "Fuck, what can we do?" Like Newcastle are giving us back a game and they're pressuring us and stuff like that. So it's mad, yeah. But,
I wanted to ask you guys, like, you guys do 2 different style of coaching. Like you said, what do you do?
What we currently do is obviously we're training with the one. It's all supplemental coaching, so one-on-ones and small groups. And the majority of stuff we look at is from a technical basis, so your technique, breaking down specifics of your game, finishing, whatever it might be. But like myself personally, I've never been involved in a team. Like coaching wise, I have no interest in it. Gary
is the coach.
had done it previously, and then our other co-founder, Gary Daly, he's not here today. He is still involved in a team in the National League 17s. So he's still in coaching teams, which is why he's so busy, and probably why he's not here right now. So there's loads that go on with it now. But what we do currently is only supplemental, which is outside of team training.
Gary, how'd you get into it though? Like, what was the route? Were you playing football, and then when that stopped, you're like, what am I doing next? How did you get into coaching?
Good question. When I played, it wasn't at a particularly high level at all. I played football for the love of it and really enjoyed it. I played with my friends all the way through from 6 till 18. Around 14, 15, I really caught a bug for coaching when he started playing, because Morgan's obviously my younger brother. He Yeah, he caught but in
I
terms
was actually going to ask if they're related, but I was like, oh, no, just leave it.
younger brother. I'm 27. Morgan's 23.
23,
yeah, just 23.
Yeah.
So Morgan is extremely talented, and when he was younger, extremely talented as well. And when he made a move from a local community club to what would be considered like a better team inside of Dublin, I was like, Jesus, this is a whole new world.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of caught the bug. I was like, I really like this high performing environment. I'm not going to be able to play in it, so I'm going to have to find another way. So that's what coaching came from. Then it just became entirely obsessed with it from about 16 to about 25. So just under 9 years. I think I was coaching 5 nights a week with 2 games the weekend. It was a full-time job nearly. So that was just through college. And then I suppose on the team side, I definitely burnt out about 2.5 years ago. I haven't even thought about going back to coaching teams again at all. And I was probably on the brink of, I just secured my UEFA B license. Okay. So I was going to go into my A and then try to get into a Category 1 club in England. So let's say like a Manchester United or a Burnley or a Chelsea, for example, just for a role. But completely fell out of love with it. But luckily
Why
enough,
did you fall out of love with it?
Were you coaching like multiple teams at a time?
Yeah, when I was in first year college, so between like 21 and 24, I had 2 teams that I coached in the same club. So they were under 12s Premier and an under 13s Premier. And then I also was the assistant manager for the DDSL representative team. So essentially what that is it's the league in Dublin. They pick the best players from all the clubs and they represent the...
like Brentford for the NDSL was when I was playing football.
The NDSL. So even like the main tournament for underage kids for the League of Ireland is called the Kennedy Cup, where they pull all the best players. And to be fair, it's where majority of Irish internationals come from, is if they represented their leagues. So with that, I mean, that was... The DDSL was a night's training plus a game. With the club I was working with, that was 3 nights a week with 2 games because it was 2 teams. It just became too much. And then I shifted then to the League of Ireland for coaching. So in the underage setup, I was with UCD for 2.5 years. And just at the last 6 months, I dreaded going to sessions. I don't know what it was. I suppose it's like anything that kind of just creeps up on you like a slow shadow.
Just burnout starts feeling like a bit of a chore, you know? And like the fact that you have to like coach 2 different teams, it's a lot of workloads, because depending on stylistically how they both play, they could play similar and it's a grand role for you. I was going to ask, like, what did you have to kind of play them differently kind of thing, or did you have to like pay attention, like you probably have to pay extreme attention to detail to each team kind of?
Yeah, the 12s Premier were like my baby. That was the team that I had since 9s. So they were, for lack of a better word, extremely well prepared in all aspects. But I had to go into the 13s because they were essentially in relegation. And looking back at it now, but I mean, looking back at it now, it's a load of bollocks. The reason why I was put into that position was because the chairman didn't want them to get relegated. I was like, fuck off, like.
Work politics.
You know, it is, honestly. But that's exactly why I was put there. So we played, it was 9-a-side. We played a goalkeeper, a bank of 4 and a bank of 3, and we didn't cross into the opposition's half, and we just hit on the break. We had 2 players who were top grade. One of them is actually one of the youngest players in Shelbourne now at the minute in their first team, and the other one was quality back in the day. Now we actually doesn't play anymore, which is funny. But we used to just play them both up top, and they just used to run the channels, and we used to win games 1-0, and we got out of relegation. But I mean,
Prime Mourinho.
Kids, and this is the funny thing I find with the FAI and Ireland in general, just there is definitely a lack of transparency and communication between what kids need to learn and what they should know, because a lot of the messages that they're getting is play out from the back, play stylish, play off both feet, play the football on the floor. Whereas when they go, like we played Bayern Munich with the DDSL, and the first thing they've done for the first 10 minutes is kick the shit out of us. I mean, kick the shit out of us. They were young men, like. And we went over to Sheffield United with that club I was working with, and the director of football pulled us after. He goes, Jesus, we used to bring Irish teams over to kick the shit out of us. But now you're playing us off the park, but you're weak. It's like, what's going on? Like, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like, where's the balance here?
Where's the middle ground? Yeah. Because my perception of how Irish football was as a whole was honestly just hoofball. Like, so I always thought that was kind of the Irish mentality of just, stick it up in the air, someone will get it kind of thing. Like, even just hearing commentators' kind of idea of football. Like, I was watching the World Cup, and like, I was obviously watching on RTE. I don't know about you lads, but RTE is insufferable sometimes to listen to, because I'm literally like listening to it and I'm just like, it's Brian Kerr going, oh yeah, like, I think Spain could have hoofed the ball up there a bit more, and I'm a bit like, no, but they play a different style of football. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I remember they had a lot of criticism towards like Senegal, and like Senegal were trying to keep kind of play football on the ground kind of thing, try give whoever a game, and the criticism now is, they're not doing much, they weren't hoofing it, they weren't kind of thing. So I always thought that was the idea kind of, but I didn't know that we're trying to kind of adjust kind of from a junior level.
Definitely, especially the last I would say 4 years, the FAI changed how they saw youth development. So they brought in a high performance director. I don't know if that was the official title, but it was definitely a big change because they changed everything from the playing time minutes to the footballs that were used. Like, it was very in the weeds. It was coming from somebody that worked in the Dutch FA. So they took a lot from what the Netherlands have been doing over the past
football kind of thing.
the last 20 years. And to be honest with you, a lot of it worked. I mean, you can see some of the fruits of it now with the likes of Evan Ferguson. He's probably the first of the crop that are coming through now.
Yeah.
He's if anybody doesn't know us, listen, he's 18 years of age, starting up top for Brighton in the Premier League,
causing problems,
scoring against Liverpool. I mean, the guy's and I saw him when he was 11 years of age. The guy was he was insanely talented. So
under great guidance in his club, though.
I actually have a question, because I have a friend, or me and Deji have a friend that works at the Fulham Academy. I think he works at.
Yeah, he works at Fulham.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he was telling me what these kids come in from, like 5, 6, and what they look at from like 5 or 6 year olds, and a bit of it I was like, how do you, like, it's basically like you're farming kids and you're farming talents, because from 5 or 6 you're looking at certain physical traits and attributes. But for you guys, you've probably managed like the younger kids. What do you guys look at when a kid comes in? It's like immediately, because he told me over in England it's a lot of focus on the physical. When they're coming in, it's like how athletic are they, the quickness, the fiber muscles, everything, because it translates to Cobham. He actually used Chelsea as an example. He says that's why you're seeing the likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Tomori, Tammy Abraham. They're like more athletic players.
Even
So
Reece
then,
James is probably the perfect example.
So then I was wondering, like, it made me think, like, when kids are being developed too, you give an example. Now, is that what it is? Now you're looking at the more technical side of it, how they can pass, or what's happening over here in terms of academies?
I mean, I'll just start. I think you've got a good opinion on this. My first opinion, I agree with that staff member in Fulham. I think physicality is something that is nearly frowned upon now, because people want to give small players a chance, or more technically gifted players. They're putting a bit more emphasis on the outliers than I think they should sometimes. I think people like kids and young adults, they're nearly frowned upon for being like the bigger player. But if you look across the data, it's quite evident. And even for clubs that are signing players in England, the success rate of players that sign pro contracts are born between September and December, because they actually play in the year after. So if you're born between September and December in 2007, you actually play your football with the 2008 group.
Yeah, that used to happen to me.
So if I do Project Mbappe, I should probably get my wife pregnant now.
I'm not gonna
Right now.
I'll be looking at you in the 13s and I'm like, yes, you're just so we're going to put you in the under 12s. Oh, yeah, it used to happen to me.
No, because that concept is written in a book. I can't remember who wrote it. Someone was actually telling me, I can't remember the author. Like what you're saying, it's like, it's not coincidence that there are people born within that time. In America, in hockey, I think he used hockey, the National League, as an example. Says a lot of the pros were born between that time range because they were quicker than the kids that were playing with at the same time. Hey, thank you, boys, for coming. I appreciate it, for giving us your time.
Guys.
That was class,
this podcast is sponsored by Arome's Candle. Deji has it there, so
Beautiful.
Go on Instagram and
smell
grab
great.
that. They smell great. Like he's gonna buy some for his missus, and
Done.
you two go on Instagram and
actually,
comment, like, and subscribe on Culture
I
Shock
didn't
Media.
tell you, if you buy 5 candles, you get the 6th one free.
There you go.
6 candles.
I don't know.
Comment, like, and subscribe on Culture Shock Media. And if you didn't like anything that we've said on this podcast today, well, charge it to the game. Thank you for listening. Thank you guys for coming.
Boys, that was a sick one.